What?
Sorry I'm late, guys. It's your boy. It's your boy Dave Cameo from Squawking Dead. In case you didn't notice. Sorry I'm late. Um, yeah, I was driving home like a madman, trying to. I was gonna actually broadcast from the office and show you like a different webcam and how weird and awful the office lighting is when it gets to a certain time of night. Hey Kate. Hey my fellow co-host and her husband, and Jimmy Irwin, and Mandy. Um, I'll be starting up the stream right in a few minutes, but I wanted to say hello first to our coffee subscribers, the people who have given me coffee, and me and my co-hosts coffee for the past couple weeks now, actually. And and I wanted to thank you guys personally at some point. I probably do that both in a post next week and in the next live stream, just personally by name. Whether you're subscribed for a monthly or have just given us coffee for the last month, you will be announced in a wrap up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, um, what we're trying to do, and this is kind of like emblematic of what's happening right now. See, if in the future at some point I want to do this thing full time, I'm kind of gonna need your help, just a little bit of help. One, to get the word out, but obviously, things like getting the word out, things like rating the podcast in iTunes and Stitcher, um, things that help us out. I mean, you don't have to share the podcast necessarily, but if you rate us in the relative iTunes or Stitcher podcast platforms, that helps a lot. If you subscribe to all the video, the vlog platforms like YouTube, Facebook, um, Stitcher, sorry, not Stitcher, Mixer, Periscope, all that stuff. That helps too. And all this to say that I do eventually want to go independent on this, and in order to do that, I kind of need your help. And that's going to take a lot of coffee, if you know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, head to ko-fi.com/squawking dead, or hit the little handy dandy button under the main menu that says support the podcast. Literally, it takes is a cup of coffee, like less than what you would probably normally pay at a Starbucks or at any other she coffee place. It's literally $3, and you get access to 30 days of content. You can do a one-off, and you get 30 days worth of behind-the-scenes content. Literally, this podcast, Rachel and I were on a couple nights ago, and we did like basically 4+ hours of content. Like the first hour plus of which was just she and I talking about life. Her talking about her businesses and all the mishaps and all the foibles, and me like talking about like having moved to Chicago full time and then having issues with my best friend slash roommate and kind of going through that situation. Yeah, so it's really, I mean, in my opinion, it's pretty entertaining. I mean, but it's you just go through it, and a lot of the stuff that we're talking about has to do with the episode too in our personal lives. The episode's called Bonds, right? So we were talking about all the different bonds that we have in our personal lives. So um, to move on to the episode, I just want to say, yeah, if you do support what we're doing, and so two very important things. If you do throw us a coffee, like a one-off, you can keep throwing us coffees, by the way. But if you do, when we start up the episode, a little thing will come up, little message, and we tested it last week, and it actually worked. With shout out to Whisperers UK, who tested it out last week by giving us 2 coffees during the live stream. And if you look back to episode 76, you'll see, like, I think 10 minutes into the episode, a little message popped up, and that's going to be there forever on Facebook and YouTube until they kick us off. And so if you do throw us a coffee in the live stream, when we go to the next scene where the video shows up, you'll see a little message pop up saying, ooh, such and such person, gave Squawking Dead a coffee or something like that. So, that's the first thing. So ko-fi.com/squawking dead to send us a coffee, or go to squawkingdead.com, hit the button. Second thing is, as it has been the case for the last couple of weeks, when we do this sort of format, you still get the show for free. You get an edited version of the show, obviously, the live stream. And, so you don't get the full unedited content before, after show, during some of the mishaps that happened that I had to cut out. But you do get the edited show. But you also get, just as a thing that we like to do, even if you don't give us coffee, is we like to be in the chat with you. So I got Rachel so far with me. I think maybe OG Squawk and D Carol G might be on there in a few. But me and Rachel will be in the chat with you as an episode airs. And so we'll be answering all your questions. I'll actually have time to talk to you while we're actually addressing the show's topics. And that's kind of like what I love about this format is that, like, yeah, we can kind of go through our thoughts, throw them out there, and then we can engage with you when we go through the whole episode. So without further ado, on to the episode, huh? See you in the chat. And throw me your coffee because I did not sleep last night. Goodbye! We are Squawking Dead. And welcome to another podcast. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by Rachael Burt, CosmoMom09 on everything now.
That's right. Made that change.
Yeah, made that change happen. Stuck. All the bonds in this episode are tested. They're all strained. It's basically testing out these solid loyalty bonds that like eventually, will somehow break. This is like we're talking about Eugene and Rosita, Alpha and Beta, Carol and Daryl. And then Sadiq to reality.
I had even jotted down Sadiq and Coco. This was some quality Sadiq and Coco time.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, there's something about that kind of relationship when you're experiencing that like, I think he's trying to fake it till he makes it.
With Coco?
Period. With life. And so he's trying to like hang on.
I mean, aren't we all?
To what he has. But some people some people overdo it. Like they, you know what I mean? Like they're like, if I just hold on to this or I just hold on to that, like I won't slip away. As a person. Like we were talking about personal stories before for the bonus content that you missed if you weren't a coffee subscriber. We talked about a lot of things for like about over an hour. So if you're a coffee subscriber, you might want to stop your subscription. But if you like that sort of thing, we literally had a whole other podcast just an hour ago for the last hour. So so if you don't know what we're talking about, get your coffee subscriptions at ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or hit the handy dandy button on squawkingdead.com. That will give you a pass, like a little link that you can use when we start recording, and at the very least you'll get a link to the full raw unedited video, which includes bonus content before and after the show, during the show as we make edits. Like sometimes they're subtle, sometimes they're not. Like people coming into the room being like, hey, what's going on in here? Like, or I really gotta pee, man. And they start talking shit about each other.
Yeah.
See, you're missing out on all that.
You get all of that.
Yeah, you get all of that. It's really, and then you get all, on the other hand, you also get all the, like this stuff that I'll eventually edit out. No, I probably won't. Especially this episode, you don't want to miss some of the bonus content because we really go into it. We really went into personal stories. So like on that note, not like I had PTSD, but I had a hard time in high school. I came from a school, like a small school, going to a larger school where everybody knew each other. From the middle school, all the people from the middle school, that high school's middle school, would go into that school. I knew nobody. I knew two people from my school in a class of 200, I think.
Jeez.
So, yeah. So it was one of those things where, like, I held on to those friends as much as I could, but even those slipped away because they were in different classes. I would come home so, like, depressed and, like, so exhausted because, every day is nerve-wracking. And so, like, there's this thing where, like, okay, look, I don't call my mom every day. I don't call my mom every week. It's the whole thing. But, like, I'm pretty independent. Like, I don't really talk to my family as much as I probably should. But, like, back then, it's like when you're in the shit, and this probably goes to the conversation we had before the podcast, like, you kind of just cling on to anything you've got. Like, so I had my brother and I are 10 years apart, and when I was in high school, it's like 14, so he's 4 years old. And so I would hang out with him. And, like, I would read him a story before bed, and then I'd fall asleep in his bed, and, so we'd fall asleep together. But, like, at the same time, it's kind of sad because you're in high school and you should be talking to girls and friends and stuff.
I don't think that's sad at all.
it was a time. It was a hard time for me. So so when I saw Sadiq hang out with Coco and just trying to take care of Rosita, that's me going back to that moment where it's like I'm just trying to hold on to anything I've got right now. I don't want to slip away. I'm just clinging on. But every single bond in this episode is just tested. It's just strained, and it's really tough to watch, to be honest. And I mean, I'm going to get pissed off in this episode a lot because there's some things that I saw that I didn't see until second watch. And I'm like, maybe this does. It's just, you are terrible. You're a horrible person. And I know why you're doing it, but you're burning every good thing. It's like where Sadiq will hold on to anything to kind of keep him tethered. Like, Carol will burn every bridge just to get to what she wants, and that includes what the loyalty test that she puts on Daryl, and it's just kind of like, and it really affected me. Like, and again, I'll go back to something I said last week. I said I wouldn't be so frustrated if it wasn't for the fact that I love her. Like, I love you. Why are you doing this? Like, why are you hurting my feelings?
I think I still have a little more faith in her. I don't know. I'm not mad at her.
And maybe you'll get me to turn around. I see. Sometimes you do. You all. A lot of the times you do. You will somehow pull the yoke.
I have a lot more blind faith in Carol than I think any other character. So I don't always pay attention to what's going on the surface. I feel like there's always something bubbling right underneath that it seems like she's doing something shady, but I don't think she is. I think it's going to work out. We'll find out, though. We'll find out.
I'm not sure. That's what's so crazy about the season. Like, it could, like, on the one hand, you do have a comic book roadmap, right? Mm-hmm. There is something there, and I find, and maybe you'll agree with me, I find that it's like an airplane that's strafing really close to the comic. Like, if you imagine the show is like it's like a flying airplane. It has a course and has a path and has an altitude, and the comic book is closer to the ground. Mm-hmm. And the show can go up in the air and do its own thing. But I find that it's been close to the ground. It's been faithful to the comic book in many areas, even in areas where they have to switch it up and with a character or two or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It resembles the comic book.
It does resemble. Right. I mean, there's a lot of things that they can't do the same because they've killed off certain characters, and so, those that are still alive in the comics obviously can't fulfill those roles, but they are, like you said. I mean, it's still very, very close to the comics. Right. The feel of the comics is still there.
Is it time for the beta to become the alpha? Is that the line you're referring to?
That line. Yes, that specific line.
The thing that I really, really liked about that scene is that because of the way they've lined up the backstory, is that you get to see his face react in real time to this. And we'll go there. Let's talk about it now. Like, he is panicking because his existence, he is nothing without her. He is full on panic. He's like, what am I without you? Wait, I can't do this on my own. You gave me my structure.
Right.
I was
and
like,
Negan is clearly a threat to that.
Yeah. It's weird when you actually feel something for Beta. Isn't it weird? Like, because he is
I've always felt something for Beta.
That's that little part of it. It's like, oh, he doesn't know any better. That's all he has.
I'm not a good person to ask. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's very codependent.
Yeah.
I've always had feelings for Beta.
I only have eyes for Beta.
For Beta.
He can
but
be
no,
cracked
he's
with his teeth.
I know. And it really does. It pushes him out too. Look at my gold teeth.
Gnarly. That's the definition of gnarly.
They are kind of gnarly.
That's what I was trying to say before.
They don't fit right.
Yeah,
they don't fit right.
I think even like the white teeth, because I feel like not all of it is, and again, we're going back to this, but like I just don't feel like all of them are even real. Like even the real ones aren't real. They just look so gnarly.
It seems like every time we see his teeth, there's more. Well, it seems like every time we see his teeth in an episode, there's more and more gold caps. Like it seemed like there were like 4 gold caps, one normal tooth, and then another gold one next to that. Like I'm like, he's just gonna have a gold grill by the end of the season.
Right, whole grill. Oh gosh, can you imagine? It'd be like a Johnny Five's Alive edit or something.
Yes, do it. Do it.
Do it,
Beta with
Johnny.
the gold grill. Do it.
And Alpha like in the rap pose like this. Like
Yes. And she's got a chain on.
right. She's showing the
With like
chain.
With a decapitated head and diamonds.
Right, exactly. With a diamond, like two big diamond eyes.
Diamond
And
studded
the diamond grill
decapitated
too, like
head
in the
on
skull.
Yeah. Yes.
Diamond. Wait,
Oh,
diamond
I'm
grill
doing it
too.
now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it now.
Okay.
This is
All
too
right.
good not to make happen.
Write it down. Write it down.
I know. I'll forget.
I love watching Ryan Hurst play this out because I'm actually not 100% sure what's going on in his mind when he's testing Negan.
Right.
I'm really
well,
not.
I mean, I think I do, but I don't know. I think he sees him as a threat. I mean, but here's the thing: they don't know who he is. He sees everybody as a threat. Well, and not to mention, we as the viewers, we know what he's done and what he's capable of. Beta doesn't know that. He sees is this loudmouth air. Yes. Mm-hmm. We know what Negan is capable of, but Beta doesn't. Like, he doesn't really know that he is a threat. I mean, He is, but Beta doesn't know that yet. All he sees is this, loudmouth, pompous, arrogant asshat, basically.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really know that he's a threat until he tries to get him killed. And Negan's like, bitches, guess who's back?
Oh, man, that line is the...
That was so awesome. Get out the measuring tape.
Where's my skin suit? And break out the longest measuring tape from my big ass.
On account of my
big
ginormous balls. I knew this episode was going to be so good. Oh, it was everything I wanted.
Delicious.
Slipping her a little Omega on the side. Oh my god.
Oh, that's so delicious.
I need more of those too.
Just excellently timed. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, how many more of these scenes we're gonna have with them together? Because it's looking tense right now.
I know. I need more.
Yeah, but no, I still want to focus on Beta because at first I'm trying to think, is he sizing him up or is he just doing the standard test? And by all measures, it really did give me more insight into Beta, how Beta operates, because on the one hand, there's only two hands. So on the one hand, Beta believes what's on the ground. He's like, reputation means nothing. Can you do the work? Right? I'm gonna put some stumbling blocks in your way. I'm gonna give you, and I only noticed this as throughout today. I was like, oh, he handed Negan a knife you would use to cut fruit or maybe stab someone in the street.
Oh, yeah,
not a hunting
the tiny
knife.
little switchblade.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So Negan is forced to shiv this pig. Shivving it prison style.
Prison style.
Literally.
I literally wrote that down. Oh, it was hilarious. I laughed so hard. It's literally
a pig sticker.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
worked for the pig, though.
Right. And so, I'm thinking, okay, I see what he's doing. He's trying to make it hard, right? But, I'm assuming that if he comes out of it, then, okay, I'm wrong. Beta, I'm wrong. I'll my hand to God. Probably, maybe, I don't know. But on the other hand, there's this whole other side of him that's again, he believes what he sees, and he'll do anything for Alpha. So, it's these two warring things, though. It'll become these two warring things. Because Beta believes what's on the ground. Beta believes in the cause. But he also sees the writing on the wall in some ways. Which is why that scene is so prescient, where he's getting challenged by Alpha. It's so prescient because, on the one hand, who am I without Alpha? She's the linchpin to my entire my personal Beta entire belief system. So without her, who am I? And can he exist independently of Alpha? That's huge.
He can join our group.
Well, you believe in him, but I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And that's that's what makes him so interesting to me. Because
I'm incredibly biased, though. He could just flat out kill Ezekiel, and I'd still be like, let's give him a chance, guys.
guys, he can come back from this.
Guys, just listen.
I mean, he's like a Martha.
Oh no, no!
I just put a different spin
there was
on
no
Beta,
hope.
didn't I?
No hope for Martha.
I mean,
hope for Beta.
I don't see, because I do see, like, yeah, even though I see Beta is a little bit pitiable, like, at the same time, there's that whole other side of him, like, where he doesn't have a self. His self is just bonded
Alpha.
to Alpha. I mean, for better or for worse, Alpha, the religion of Alpha and the Whisperers, sure. But, without Alpha, there is no Whisperers religion. There is no Alpha.
Right.
So it's like a catch-22.
I do really hope that they follow the comics just so far as how Alpha dies before Beta does. And so we do, in the comics, we do see Beta having to step up and kind of figure out who he is on his own for a minute. And with all this, extra room to roam on the show, they could really expand on that.
Yeah.
Like we could really see this character grow after Alpha's death.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make... Well, yeah, I have so many thoughts about that I don't even know if I could fit it all in. Because, I mean, I agree, but I also disagree, like, in some ways. Like, okay, we get rid of Alpha, Beta has to step up, but are we not repeating the theme of kind of in the way that Simon tried to step up and eliminate people? And he got taken out, and then Negan had to kind of just take his place in a way. Like Simon, and this is only on the show, but Simon's like, decided, genocide time again for Hilltop. And then Negan felt like he had to do it because, like, oh, look, he forced me into that position. So I'm going to just follow through, in kind. So, yeah.
It'll look like he doesn't have control of his people if he didn't.
Exactly. Like when did it get to be this? Like Carl said, like when did this get away from you? In a way, like when did this start to become one thing about saving people and then turn into something completely different? So, anyway, going back to that though, to Beta and Alpha, it's kind of like would we be repeating a theme here? Alpha's the brains and the brawn, in my opinion, but like Beta is also pure brawn to me. He has no motivation. The only motivation is what she wants. And she relies on him to be that. It's kind of, okay, this is weird. I didn't even think of this until just now. Remember how we said that Carol is like a bazooka in a knife fight? That's Beta.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is that, I mean, they literally are the same thing. The only difference, the only difference is that Carol has an ego. And so she can get hurt. And when she gets hurt, that weapon that motivation can change. Her whole thing is about protecting the community at all costs, but she needs to check. But now, when it becomes to herself, she's almost uncheckable. And so Beta is not like that. But what if you remove Alpha? And then maybe then he'll have feelings, and that's going to be a problem. So I wonder, oh, wow, oh, this is interesting. Because I'm trying to work it out. Like, what do I prefer? Because if you do take Alpha out, so you have that check removed. Now he has emotions again, and they're pretty crazy. Now you have Carol. She's full of emotion, and she's uncheckable. She's literally, I'm looking at the sneak peeks, I'm like, nobody can stop this bitch. Like, she's going to try to get whatever Carol wants, Carol gets. And it doesn't matter who gets hurt. And so I'm looking at Beta now, I'm like, oh, this can get really, really bad. Right? Yeah. This can get really, really bad. Because Alpha does rule with some emotion, let's say, or just reacts, but she's not dumb. She is smart. She'll navigate. She'll be like, how can I affect the outcome in the way that I want it to go? She has thought to her actions. But Beta, I'm not sure with Beta. And if you look at a parallel with Carol, it's like Carol is just... She's just trying to make a beeline in whatever way is going to get the best result. But it's a beeline, and there's blinders on at the same time. She doesn't care about, like, the wake behind her.
No.
That's the thing. And Alpha does. Alpha does care. That's why she's doing what she's doing. She's protecting the integrity of the Whisperers. Like, she's trying to produce the best outcome for them to be able to take over. Whereas... Carol's just like, oh, fuck this shit, bitch gotta die.
Right?
Anyways,
Is that
sorry.
the plan? Do you think that's their plan for the Whisperers to like kill everybody in Alexandria and then move in there?
No. By best outcome, I think she's trying to get them to submit to their way. She's trying to recruit.
So she would. I was gonna say. So she would rather have all these people join the Whisperers,
Yeah.
or do you think she just wants to kill everyone? I think she just wants to kill everybody.
Oh no, I think she's trying to get them to submit. First of all, she's trying to like let the weak die off a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to kind of basically show them what they're made of, and then by paring down the numbers just enough, taking out just enough fighters, just enough thought leaders, like people that, she's trying to move thought out of the way. Look at how paranoid people are acting. Mm-hmm. Silence the whisper. Silence. Okay, fine. Maybe I just want to survive. I'll put a little skin mask on. Maybe if you can't beat them, join them. Right. I can see that. People. She's trying to make it so that people will embrace the self-interest that's built into them, and it's working.
Maybe.
It's working.
Yeah. That could be. I could see that, but I just think she wants to kill everyone. I think she thinks if she kills them all, Lydia will have no place to live and she'll have to come back home.
It's always an option. But no, I really do think she wants more people, though. I do. Like, that's the ideal. I think she's smart. I think ideally she wants new recruits. And she's going to have
How would she justify that to the already existing Whisperers? Or I guess she wouldn't even really need to.
It'd be a demonstration. And they're included in the victory. They're helping make it happen. It's this whole weird, sick... If the cult works and it produces results, they'll be more committed. So, it may not work for the new recruits, but like the people that are there will make sure that shit sticks. And if they all die in the recruitment process, no skin off their skins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I don't think it's all about killing people. It could be. It might end up that way.
I think Alpha feels like these people, our people, have made a fool of her. And she just wants to kill everybody and wipe them out. How dare you make me look foolish? I'm going to kill you all now.
I think she has more to prove to herself.
Or just prove. Do you think she has to prove anything to herself? I think she's pretty confident.
I think she sees the writing on the wall. Even last season, you saw people have ideas. Beta's like saying, "Our people are whispering," and then remember the cravat and the head, taking off the head, and then the guy that spoke up, you got to nick him in the right places, and then so there's all that going on.
And then Beta killed another one this episode.
Exactly. For doing what? For sharing something.
For sharing food with Negan.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I think it's also just sharing food in general. Like, you don't, like, first of all, I said he wouldn't eat. And you're going to share that.
Right.
You out of your mind?
Right.
What we say goes. Our cult goes, So...
See, but that's not even an animalistic trait. No. Animals would share with their pack, They would,
or they can, but they listen to the alpha.
Well, yeah.
And if the alpha says eat that dog, you eat that dog.
Well, of course,
or wolf,
of
whatever.
Course. But but the alpha is also going to look out for her pack. You don't have a pack if they're not all eating and all strong and all at 100%. So the alpha is going to make sure her entire pack eats.
Right. And so, but also there's also behavioral mechanisms, right? So like you're gonna like reinforce your power structure, right? Just on the basis of alpha theory, whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not to kind of veer off into like political realms, but like one of the big things that I hear about today is like people embracing communism or socialism or anything like that. And they're trying to bring it about in like a more or less capitalist meritocracy kind of existence that we have right now, right? Which is fucking really good, actually. Not so bad. It's the best way to get out of poverty is to embrace capitalism, or the best chance you have. When I hear about people who want to embrace this weird pseudo-socialism, pseudo-communism, like, well, just think about what happened in the past, because the only real enforcement mechanism to communism is an authoritarian figure. Like, is a person who will, by force, that you endow with a lot of power, and as we know, power corrupts absolutely, and it has done every single time, you enforce communism, then you find that there will be inequality. Like some people will be targeted more than most because you're trying to make an example out of them, you know, so that we can flatten out all hierarchies and remove all incentives, and everybody's the same because everybody's going to end up being poor. So there you go. So my point is that, like, when you do that, there's an enforcement mechanism. So what is the enforcement mechanism? So every now and again I have to kind of make an example. You know, like if one little cog gets out of line, we have to flatten it down and just make it equal. Which, you know, on paper, it's great, you know, because we ideally, as we were talking about narcissism before the show, it's like ideally, I see I'm a good person until somebody deems that you're not a good person.
Right.
So, and it's not up to you. It's definitely not up to you anymore. So I don't know. I just think about that all the time because it's kind of like, it's always going to end up being a test. And so when I think about like recruits and like what the Whisperer's end game is, it's like ideally it's whatever it is, it's going to reinforce. So if they win, let's say, the pack becomes way stronger because, hey, the system works. I'm going to stay in line. I'm going to do whatever Alpha says. And then I think we're going to see some of that in the next episode, like how, you know, we've had all these victories. This guy that they captured, you know, at the end of the episode, you're going to see what he says, and you're going to see little flashes. Like even in the trailer for next week, you see like this flash of like Alpha's love, like Alpha looking adoringly at her people, like with her face. It's just crazy, you know, and it works because they're safe and they're fed, you know, relatively, right?
Yeah. Miss Rosita missing her nanny Eugene, bitch.
We're gonna fight about this now.
Well, come on, she can't break the guy's heart and then expect him to like stick around and take care of her baby.
Right. Well, I don't think it's as simple as that, though. I don't think it's about like I think she genuinely does miss him because she does really fight for him at the end of that other episode. Like, you know, she's like, I thought we were friends. You know, I thought we were really close. I
agree. I think she does genuinely miss him, but
I know how you feel though.
How did she think this was going to happen?
Right.
This you break a guy's heart, of course he's going to need to get away from you.
Well, he's the one who had to do it because that's the thing. He does it because he wants to kind of like save their friendship. You know, he steps away because like I need to kind of look at this. I need to say this out loud, and I need to kind of step back and re-enter this thing where I don't have feelings for you in that way. Yeah. Right? He's taking it upon himself. You know what I mean?
Yes. And it makes total sense. Yeah. Step away, reassess the relationship, put her back in your mind as a friend, and
I think where you
if he can move forward from there, that'd be good.
I think where you and me are on the same page is like there's a part of us in the back of our head, because we've all seen this before, is that's like you know what he's going through, girl. But then again, she's sick. So it's like I'm cutting her slack.
Right.
Because, you know, it's like rhythms, you know? Like sometimes in the apocalypse, you don't have television, you don't have shit to do. So like you dwell on things and sometimes you don't appreciate the fact that, okay, they need this space. I'll wait for them to talk to me. You know, that sort of thing.
Right.
Like, that's your life. Your life is just relationships and talking, and this is all you've got. You don't have TV. So
yeah.
You don't have music. you psychopaths. If you don't know what we're talking about,
get the bonus content.
But you're sick and you're in bed and you're thinking to yourself, I miss Eugene, you know, like, and so you're not thinking, you're like calling Hilltop, I don't know, I'm sick, I'm feeling like shit, and you're usually there for me. And so you know, but like at the same time, it's like, girl, come on, girl, you gotta, this is not good for him, man, you gotta step back.
No. I know.
Like as mad as you want to be, but people are human. I don't know.
I still love Rosita. I totally get it, and I do think she did the right thing, and I also think Eugene did the right thing. He does need some time away. You know, if they're going to be friends after this, he needs to back away for a little while, refocus, you know, redirect his thoughts, and then try to just sort of show up and be friends.
And you see it happen in real time, right? Like you see him going through the motions again of like, oh, excited to hear from her, and
you know,
trying to mess around with her, like mess around, like jokingly.
Right, his little Eugene thing that he does. Yeah.
Yeah, like falling into that pattern.
And then later, when he's trying to reach her again and he's so sad. Mm-hmm. That's heartbreaking too.
Because you could feel him. You could literally feel him kind of fall into it again. But we all, I think that's what I like about that scene. Like, as uncomfortable as it is to watch, and there are probably tons and tons of people that are like, fucking Eugene, man, what are you doing? But we all do this shit. We do this shit. And that's why I love that. I can appreciate that scene so much, because we do this shit. We have the friend that does this shit, even if we didn't do this shit. And we judge them harshly, but we probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. Very human thing to do.
The most human thing to do. It's why I always tell people, you're a Eugene in Daryl cosplay. You joke. Like,
we're all Eugene.
Best case scenario, we're Eugene. I saw somebody say the coolest thing. Be like, you know what? This is an appreciation post, because Eugene, we need smart people like Eugene, and and we do need like flawed people like Eugene in the apocalypse, because they make things interesting. Like, they're smart and they're capable. They may not be like adept. They may not be the best trackers, but like you need smart people, like resourceful people.
No.
And I agree. It's crazy.
See, I wouldn't be Eugene in the apocalypse. I'd be Olivia.
Wait, which one's Olivia again? Sorry.
She died.
Oh, yeah. Anne Mahoney's character.
Yes. Yeah,
I'd
be
see
Olivia.
That. That's the weirdest thing. I can see that.
See, I would want to be Carol. I'd be like, yeah, I'm Carol. I'd be Carol in the apocalypse. But no, I'd really be Olivia.
Right. What was her name? What was Alexander Breckenridge's character? Jesse Anderson. See, I see you more as her.
Jessie?
Yeah.
Why? Because she cuts hair?
Wow, I forgot about that, actually. But like, she was
also a cosmetologist.
Yeah, she always seemed like on the edge of getting it. Like, on the edge of getting what this world is, right? Like, and she's like, okay, Rick, you're right. We gotta be tougher. We gotta, she didn't quite make it. Whatever.
Yeah, I could agree with that up until the end. I mean, she got a little crazy. She got a little crazy there at the end. So
yeah, you would hope that you wouldn't be that way, but you would be that way.
I would be that way, and my son would totally be Sam.
See, I respect you so much more for saying that. Some people be like, no, goes back to narcissism, bonus content. You missed out on that.
That's right. No, we'd be walking through Walkers, and my kid would be like, Mom, I'm scared. And I'd be like, shut up. Yeah, that'd be my kid.
Mom. Oh, that haunts my dreams, man. Like, as mad as you were, because that was the end of the episode.
Right.
Episode.
And there was no exit music.
And
it was just him.
And you're like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, what's going to happen next?
Shut up. Shut that kid up.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was freaking out at the end of that one for sure.
Yeah. Let's just go off what we were saying before, though. He's upset with Rosita.
Yep.
Like, with being stood up by a date. and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to swipe left and right on this Tinder app. And like,
right?
And he's just looking out there. He's swiping left, like, because like, not good enough. Like, at some point, he's just doing this thing. Like, he just keeps swiping left. And like, eventually he sneezes and swipes right. And like, somebody actually responds. And that look on his face is like, oh shit, I didn't expect to hear from somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I think he was just trying to cool down. Just trying to like, But like, I don't think he expected it to. And I think that look on his face is that I wanted to point that out because it just looked like I'm so upset. I'm like so alone and I don't expect to hear from somebody, but let's just do this exercise. And like, is anybody out there? Like, I'm talking to myself. I need this exercise. And I fully expecting him to masturbate and go to sleep alone again. Yeah, I said it.
Oh my gosh.
That's what people do in the apocalypse, people. They don't have sex anymore. They just, masturbate and go to bed.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That just ruined the zombie apocalypse for you.
Done.
Yep. It's just really boring and depressing most of the time. You're catching the highlights. That's what the show's about. When they cut to the next scene, it's masturbate time.
Oh my god.
which we'll call Miller time. Anyway, so done.
Miller time.
Get the frosty. Anyway. So going back to that, but like I really didn't think that he was expecting to hear anybody, and so watching his face, like, oh shit, now what do I do? That I love that little moment right there. Like, oh, now what do I do? I just stepped in something I didn't expect to step into.
When he even says in his own little Eugene way, like, I didn't expect to hear from anybody. Otherwise, I would have prepared a speech for you, or
Right.
But he says it in his own cute little Eugene way,
Like talking himself into talking.
Yeah, and I love that she gets it right away too. She's not confused by the way he talks to her in his Eugene dialogue. He's spells out in way too many words, that he wished he would have prepared something, basically. And she's like, oh yeah, I don't really know what to say either. Like, just click. Totally understands him.
Right. Do you think this is the same person that was on the radio at the end of season 9? Right?
That's a good question.
Because we almost
Who
we literally
was
forgot
on the
about
other
that.
end?
We don't know.
I didn't forget about it, but I was trying to remember that scene. There wasn't anybody sitting with the radio, right?
No.
When that happened?
Nope.
And that radio was at Alexandria, correct?
I want to say that's right.
It's possible that it was the same person.
Right. Now, assuming that it was, let's say, this person's been trying to reach him for a long time.
A minute.
Reach somebody for a long time.
Right.
So what does that tell you about that person, though? Like, that person may not
They
be happy.
have hope. Tells me that they have hope that there's people still out there.
Yeah.
That they're still trying to reach people.
Well, and but what we kind of learn about her is that she is part of a tribe of some kind, of some group or some set of survivors. Let's just pretend we don't know anything. She's a part of a group that, you live out there for like 10 years, eventually you figure some things out, right? Like, you're like, okay, this, by the way, this made me think a lot about Alicia Clark on the boat, second season.
Oh, okay.
Right? Did you know? I got those vibes. But
I didn't, but
you're talking
now
about, like,
I do, yeah.
year 1 of the apocalypse versus year 10. Like, okay, they're both acknowledging maturely, like, okay, let's not, let's establish these protocols that we learned a long time ago. We fucked up at some point, and then some people killed us, and we killed some people.
Right.
So, like, they're trying to, like, this is like the UN in process right there, like, in my opinion. They're trying to figure out how to treat each other in the zombie apocalypse, because the new rules dictate we got to take care. Well, there are no rules, but we know that there are some unwritten rules. I just find it fascinating. They're like, it's like a ballet. They literally have to be very careful.
Absolutely. How do they get necessary information out of each other carefully without revealing too much about themselves at the same time?
Yeah, the art of diplomacy. Talk about what happened before.
Right. Right. Get to know who, the person that they were before. But still, I mean, that's still a risk, because they could completely be making it up until
True.
Eugene starts pointing out real things that she knows that can be verified. So now she
has
knows
no reason to
part
verify
of his
it.
story is true.
Right. And they're verifying objective facts about the world that they can both recognize are true. There's no internet to corroborate. She can't Google these facts.
No. This is it. They talk about a specific place that they both had been that existed in the real world, and it can't be made up. He couldn't have been making it up.
Yeah, and she's like, "Fuck off." He's like, "Nah, it was true as Coventry Blue." I love that guy. But
his lines, he's got great lines.
Yeah, he's just so well crafted as a character, because it just comes off the dome like that. It comes out of the oven so baked, so well baked. But you made me think about that for a little while, because I'm like, is he angling for that just to kind of get her to trust her? But no, this is all natural. It feels like it just feels like whatever is going on in that arena of them trying to just talk about the past, it's working. Like, it's just naturally working. They're not even thinking about the rules as much as they should. But because maybe they feel like they're in the parameters of, if we talk about prior, we're not going to get into messy situations about the present, like where, we need to kind of be on our guard. And so, but when they stumble onto this fact, I think they unintentionally kind of stumble into an arena where, like, not that they have to establish protocols, but they establish like mutual objectives or mutual respect or mutual trust. Like it's whether they like it or not, they are starting to trust each other for real.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because what was it? The Inside Scoop ice cream shop. That was the place that they had both been. That is a real place in the world that they both had been to.
Right. Is it a real place in the world in Strasbourg?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it is in this universe.
I wonder though, because now I want ice cream. I want it now.
I know, right?
Factoid.
But more importantly, cake or waffle cone.
That's the thing. What is okay? This is maybe as much as I love ice cream, and I'm a purist, by the way. Neither. That's me. I'm like I'm about the ice cream. Give me a cup. Give it to me in my hands. Yeah. I'll handle the rest. But I don't know what a cake cone is. Unless maybe it's
just a regular cone, like that you get in a box that fit inside each other. Like from McDonald's, the little cone that you would get from McDonald's. That's a cake cone.
I always thought that was a waffle. Okay, the waffle cone is the one, the spirally, triangle-y one, right?
Right, that looks like a waffle.
Oh, okay. So like
those, I prefer the waffle cones, but I would more often than not, I take my ice cream in a cup.
Yeah, because fuck that shit.
Because it melts
gets in the way.
And
yeah. And it's all those carbs that you don't really need in your life.
Oh no! If I see a chocolate dipped waffle cone, game over.
And remember when you were a kid and like the ones with the chocolate dipped ones, but then they had the peanuts on the side. But I always hated those because it was like, okay, that shit just gets in the way. But like now as an adult, I'm like, oh, bring it on. Like,
peanuts? I don't like peanuts.
What is it about? I love peanuts. I'm like addicted now. But you don't like peanut butter or peanuts. You don't like any of that stuff.
I don't like anything.
I love it now. I used to say as a kid, I was allergic to chunky peanut butter. Just chunky peanut butter.
That's funny.
I had all these fucking dumb rules. like I like tomato sauce, but I don't like tomatoes. Don't like them. But like now I love them.
I have definitely I've occasionally lied to a fast food restaurant and said I was allergic to tomatoes so that they would make sure and not put them on my sandwich.
Meanwhile, like you take your mozzarella sticks with tomato sauce, right, or something.
No, ranch.
Ooh, that's that Midwestern flair though too. I appreciate it now too.
Is it?
Yeah.
I put ranch on everything.
Like pizza too, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
I see you.
Steak, French fries, curly fries, potatoes, anything. Seriously,
I'm a mayo
except
guy
for
too.
Breakfast food. Ranch doesn't go on breakfast food.
Right, maple syrup does. On everything.
On waffles.
On eggs.
I like waffles,
cheese.
Not pancakes.
I like pancakes.
I'm weird.
I like pancakes. No. Most people, I think, they like waffles. I know.
Pancakes are good if I eat them really fast, but if the syrup soaks in and then it gets soggy and then it's just like this mush and
it's not a good pancake
texture thing.
You can make your pancakes are good enough, they'll hold up for the most part.
Oh,
yeah. See,
well, maybe I'm just bad at making pancakes then.
You are. Oh no.
I probably am. I don't do it often.
Yeah, I just like that. I like that little parallel about like to Alicia, like how to do it the completely wrong way and how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
You remember how Alicia's thing turned out? That was horrifying.
He came and tried to kill everybody. Yeah.
That was so real.
They've learned from Alicia's mistakes.
Right. Ideally.
Absolutely. So IMDb confirmed.
Oh, casting.
What I already thought, yeah.
Right. Oh, so do you have her name? We could just announce it.
Margot Bingham.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way...
Margot Bingham is playing Stephanie. The voice over the radio.
Yeah.
Stephanie. Any comic book readers out there know exactly who Stephanie is.
Exactly.
Exactly who Stephanie is.
And I was there for the live tweet, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
And she was like, who's that? Who's that voice? Because, like, pretending to be somebody who just watches the show. And she fucking outed herself, and she did not know what to do. She's thinking she's so slick. And meanwhile, she's like putting poop emojis and being like shrug and like panic emoji. Like she like literally I'm looking at like all her replies and being like, I don't know what to do here. Like am I flaunting an NDA
I don't
or some
tweet.
kind?
Yeah, I don't tweet. What was the tweet? Like AMC announced her, or
No,
what? I don't know what the tweet
fans
was.
were like, "Oh, that's you, isn't it?"
Oh, so people who are familiar with her recognized her voice.
Basically, or they found out somehow, and now they're like outing her ass, and like, and she's like, "I don't know, am I stepping over a line here?" Like literally, I'm watching her replies, and like she's rolling.
She's
with
gonna
it.
get fired from the show before she even gets on screen,
Which could happen. I don't know. They can recast her, and just...
she's only credited for this episode,
right? Okay,
on the website. So I don't know. I did jot down, like, I've never seen the other things that she's been in. She's been in quite a few, but like most notably, New Amsterdam, Queen Sugar, Barbershop, The Next Cut.
New Amsterdam with
the new
Nikolai
show.
Coster-Waldau? Oh, the new one.
I don't watch it. The new, the new doctor show that's on right now.
Okay, there was two New Amsterdams. There was one with Jamie Lannister, Nikolai Coster-Waldau. The guy that, whatever. You don't watch Game of Thrones, but that was like way back. That was way back.
Oh,
but
okay.
It mirrors the show.
No, this one's a newer one.
It mirrors the reboot. Do you ever hear of the show called Forever?
Yes.
It had the same premise. It's like a guy who dies and wakes up, swims
Comes
up to the
back.
shore from So
that one. Yes.
So New Amsterdam was the original New Amsterdam was that, and they just rebooted it.
Oh, okay.
With a different actor. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Good
All
fact.
right. No, this one is the hospital one.
Okay.
About a doc. I don't watch it, so I'm not sure. But I've seen the commercials. I know it's about a hospital. She's on that one, and Queen Sugar and Barbershop, The Next Cut. So she's done a lot of notable stuff, just not anything that I've seen. But I'm excited. I'm glad I was finally right about something.
People are really excited about her being on the show. Do you remember season 8? Now, it's one of the first few episodes in the season when things are starting to pick up again. Like, okay, they're going to start to get there. They have a plan now. They know what they're going to do to defeat the Saviors. We have a coordinated plan with the Polaroids and everything. But there's this one episode that opens up with Ezekiel at the kingdom, and we're kind of getting a little bit more of a look into what's going on. And it starts with the king waking up, washing his face, and it's like in this theater, like, so it's reminiscent of like a little bit of his past life, somewhat. And I noticed that like Carol's doing kind of the same thing, and it's like, oh, they were together. There's a little bit of a tether there. There's like, and a lot of what happens at the beginning of that episode is like they have a plan. They're waking up. This is the battle. This is what they're going to do, and it looks like things are looking up. And when I look at this episode and how it turns out, it's almost the same way, except, obviously that episode with Zeke, his people are protecting him and they get shot down. Yeah. That was terrible.
That was that episode. Yeah. That was 804, I think, specifically.
Yeah. There's the episode before some guy, right? I think, or something like that. Because
I think it was some guy.
Well, no, because then
you're right.
Dies in the next episode.
You're right. Some guy's the next one, because that episode ends with him in the field with everybody on top of him, and then the next episode starts with him doing the shredder through the bodies.
Right. He's reborn through the bodies of other. I wrote a whole thing about that, but like I noticed the scene is very similar though. Like I love that there's this kind of pseudo parallel to that how that episode opened, to the point, by the way, also where in Zeke's, this is crazy. In Zeke's, he's kind of facing, like, if you're looking at the camera, if you're looking at the TV, he's facing left of the camera of the TV. Carol's facing right of the TV. It's like they're almost going in different directions. Okay. The scene with him in it is a lot more warm colors, like reds and yellows and those kind of hues. Her scene is more cold and blue, and it just shows. I like these little like differences between these two scenes, and they're deliberate. For sure, they're deliberate.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully it has the opposite outcome too, because all of
Seems like
people died. So here's hoping that Carol doesn't get everyone killed.
All I know, and this is all I'm going to say out loud, is that unfortunately, I have knowledge that I shouldn't have. Not spoilers. I'm not saying, but like, the cast has talked about there's a lot of death, and it may well be, and I don't know, may not be, but it may end up being that Carol's actions have dire consequences. It may be. There's no other character that's acting as reckless as she is. And there's also the illness too. Sure. Fine. But I'm trying to hedge my bet. Because I said this to somebody the other day. Today. This is why I don't believe in karma. But like the show has a way of saying, like, just because you do something that may get your group killed doesn't mean that they're going to get killed. Like, it's dire. Right. They don't always have dire consequences. It's just like, why would you do it? Why would you risk it? And it's like, Herschel's like, you take a sip, you risk your life. like anything you do can risk your life. But like, so I get it. So I'm trying to be like, but like also don't tempt fate.
Yeah.
It
might be okay, but why risk it?
Right. And I'll hand to God, like if this all works out, I'll be like, okay, all right, cool. But let's not do that again, please. It's like driving recklessly without a seatbelt. Yeah, exactly. You got lucky.
Yeah.
How many times is that going to work?
Yeah.
Anyway.
When will your luck run out?
Yeah. Walkers are dangerous, people. Walkers are still dangerous, and it's never been more evident from this episode. Talking Dead does make note of, and I noticed this as well, like the role swap Daryl and Carol have. So she's saying, "Why aren't we enough?" And Daryl, when talking to Rick, it's almost the same way. Why weren't we enough? Why did we have to build this community? Right?
Yeah.
But I'm much more sympathetic to Daryl of last year, a little bit, because there's a value in keeping the people you love, like your group tight knit.
A small group.
That makes sense. He's just making a declarative statement.
Yeah.
But and I'm just saying this out loud, and I want to see what you feel about this. And because we need to go back and deconstruct what happens, but she is making a declarative test of his loyalty. Almost. She's like tugging at his heartstrings saying, why aren't we enough? Like, why do I have to care about the community? Why do I have to worry about everybody else? Why aren't we enough?
Enough.
To handle this.
I was gonna say, I think I took that scene a little bit differently than you. Like,
that's fine.
As long as her and Daryl are there to solve this problem, no one else needs to be involved. Like, they are smart enough, strong enough, capable of handling this situation on their own. So they don't need anybody else. Daryl wants the backup. He wants help. And she's like, I think we got it. It's also, if you believe her when she says, we're just going to find the horde and then report it to the council. Which, if this truly is a scouting mission, right. And that's in question too, honestly. I'm doubting my girl right now. I don't really know what's going on up there either. But if this truly is a scouting mission, then the two of them are enough. I mean, if they're just going to go scout a location, find the horde, report back, then they really don't need backup for that.
Right, but everything...
If that's truly what she's thinking.
Right. It will go kind of back to the bonus content. There are some things that she does is that deliberately puts him into a corner where he has to choose between, what's right, what we ought to do, and like what she knows will put pressure on him as a loyalty to, because we all know dog knows how loyal Daryl is to Carol. He smells it all over Daryl. And so when you back him into a corner and it becomes like about Merle, let's say about loyalty to Merle, or like moments where we've seen in the past where, maybe it's not the safest choice, but if it comes down to loyalty, I'll be there for my people, like I'll be there for whomever. Yep. So at first it was Merle, the second it was for the group. And then the whole time, Carol, I'll do it for the community. I'll do it for you. I'm loyal like that, like a dog. It's funny. So she knows that like if she backs him into a corner, and this will get me enraged later on, but let's walk through it because I'll tell you exactly the moments. I will admit her plan is sound, like objectively it's sound. Like if you just follow it to the letter, as the episode unfurls, you get what she's trying to do. She's prepared. She wants to know about the Horde and whether what she thinks is true. Oh, they are meeting here. Okay, that's cool. Next thing on my plan, taking a hostage. Because I'm going to bring this up to you. It's like, do you think she was intentionally going there to get the hostage? Or is like, oh, if I come across one, I'll and if I'm, I have a little zip tie on me. It's like, what the fuck? Why isn't it in your bag?
Yeah. I don't know if the intention was to capture, but I think she was going to take the opportunity if it presented. Absolutely, which is why she came prepared. Yeah. But I don't know, to go there planning on capturing one of them, I think would have required a little bit more planning. Because, okay, now you captured them. Now what? Where are you going to take them? Where are you going to put them? Like, if that were the intention. But if she was like, I'm going to go check it out. If I happen to run into one of them, I'll snag them up.
But I think, you'll have to admit that the fact that she hid it on her person, she left him with the bag intentionally.
Oh, of course.
To see that there's nothing in there, but also to see if he'd actually do it. Right? Mm-hmm.
And knowing I think that anybody would have.
And knowing that he would do that, it's not even a loyalty test. She knew he would do it. The thing is, this is how smart Carol is. And this is just me like seeing how she's thinking 5 steps ahead. She's like, she knows he's going to feel bad. Now I can get him to do what I want to do. And who is Daryl to Carol again? Can you remind me?
Her best friend.
Yeah. Do you do that to your best friend? I'm so mad right now. I'm seriously so infuriated. Why would you do that to your best friend?
See, this is where my faith in the character comes in.
Sure,
I don't
me
know
too.
why.
But like,
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot justify that. I can't. But
I'm so
my faith
bad.
in her character.
I'm seriously so bad.
I totally get it. I totally get it, and I would too. But this is where my faith in the character comes in. Like I can't justify that action. I really can't.
That's what I'm saying. I need you right now.
I have faith that she knows what she's doing. I'm waiting for the rest of it to play out. I think she's smarter than we even realize.
Sure.
I think she knows what she's doing. And whatever it is that she's planning, Daryl might not understand. It might sound crazy if she says it out loud, but it might work. Whatever it is might work.
I think he knows full well. The problem that I'm having is that she is so determined that she's ready to burn every single bridge that there is to get it.
Yeah.
In a again, no doubt she's smart. Like I said, objectively, her plan is sound. Problem is she's not including anybody in it by design or not. I don't know. That's the other thing about it. But she's definitely smart. She's definitely all the moves she's making gets her to where she needs to be.
Yeah.
And I know that the way her plan is set up is so that like even if Daryl says no, she'll find a way to figure it out. And I even note that in the next episode. Yeah. When she realizes that she's cornered by the council and she's like, you know what, look, I have limits. She'll find a way to go around, get Lydia, and, get her to take them to where she needs to. That's what I'm saying. Like, she is undeterred. She has a backup plan. There's nothing that's going to stop her. And that's the thing. Daryl is aware of that. I want to take a step back because I want to show each violation to Daryl along the way. In a way, like I don't know, because I don't think it's worth it to even talk about like the Connie thing because I'm just so mad, like how she brings up Connie and you need somebody in this world. I'm like, bitch, you left the king at both of your most vulnerable. Like you're such a hypocrite. Yeah, like you're talking all this smack about him and not going for Connie and everything. And
I think she's like a lot of us, and she's good at giving advice and not taking it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think she even knows. She probably would be better off with the king, but that's not her. She can tell Daryl what to do, but she won't take her own advice.
Yeah, I think she's still operating off the old rules, right? Like, oh, I'm the person who has the, the emotional maturity, right? Like Carol.
Yeah.
And Daryl,
Yeah.
oh, you're still you're a little boy. I need to guide you through life. Meanwhile, I think Daryl's just taking it slow. like he's not ready yet.
I have never. I almost don't even want to say this out loud,
Do it,
but
'cause
I've
I think I
never
know what
been
you're
more
gonna say.
convinced.
That they're meant for
I've never
that he's
been
holding
more
out for her.
Well, that he is head over heels, stupid in love with her.
With Carol.
Like, just,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Just dumb, blinded, head over heels in love with her.
I've seen that.
And he's not going to say it. He won't say it. I think she even knows it, which is why she's like, no, you need to go hang out with Connie some more. Go check on Connie. Go, she's driving that home because she sees it too.
So you can see this in a multitude of ways because of the way that's filmed, they just pull this, making you want to pull that slot even more, that Carol slot, CARYL slot.
YL.
So I get that. And I've seen people do that, but here's the thing. So I see two things, right? I see one, a person who's saying, oh, just go to Connie. This is burnt toast. This is no good. This is no bueno. Don't hold out for me. The second
There could be a lot of reasons. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because she's just, I'm damaged goods. I'm doing this thing, and I don't want you to get hurt.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you do. Fuck you. You're dragging Daryl along for this ride. Because you
I don't
say
think
you don't
she
want
wants anyone else to get hurt, though.
No, I know.
She wants to do this on her own. Like, she tried to leave on her own.
But
and
if
he
she
was
does,
like,
but if she
I'm
doesn't include
gonna follow
Daryl now,
No.
he's going to get other people to stop her. That's the thing. Now she needs to rope him in.
Right.
Right?
Now she
See how
needs to
smart
keep
she
him
is?
close. Otherwise, he's going to bring more back up.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
It's diabolical.
I
Like,
mean,
literally the word. Okay,
Diabolical or genius?
yeah, diabolical infers
Yes.
genius.
Yes.
It's very calculating,
Smart.
but evil.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's take out the judgment and keep going because I do want to. I'm going to highlight all these things, and you should be as mad as me. That's the thing. Don't feel what you want to feel, but I kind of actually want you to pull me back from the abyss.
I'm trying.
But I also note that, like, okay, the way that scene is also filmed is kind of like, okay, maybe, so, like, you got the whole thing about him being head over heels in love with her, but you could also look at it in this way, like, maybe Daryl's just, did I mention this in the last episode? Because I thought I did, but, like, maybe Daryl is just kind of also looking at her as a model. Like, if Zeke and Carol can make it work, or if Carol can make it work with somebody in general, maybe he has some sort of hope for himself, you know? But I think part of that is, like, I'm trying to push, trying to get these two people who are clearly hurting very badly to kind of, like, find a way to heal, and then maybe they can exist in the world and solve the problems that are plaguing them,
Yeah.
After that, I wrote, Daryl's got good eyes for a 50-year-old. Because he goes, hey, what's that? And she has to kind of go, put the binoculars.
With the binocular, yeah.
And she's, like, adjusting them. She still can't see what Daryl sees with his plain eyes. It's like, you don't see that?
Right there. Well, okay. In all fair, he is a tracker. I mean, would he not be trained?
He could have been
That would fall under that.
Yeah, I get it.
That would fall under that umbrella, wouldn't
Maybe,
it?
yeah. But I don't know.
I love that comment, though. She's like, I've been paying attention over the years. I picked up a few things. I can track.
And then the next scene, snap.
Right? Yeah.
That's all I can think of when I hear that. Because every time I watch the episode, I'm like, snap. That's all I hear.
Did you see Oscar's post today?
No. Oh, wait.
No.
Of him, like, almost killing Daryl? Yeah?
Yeah. Well, he was the one in the forest looking for Daryl.
Yeah. But definitely wasn't
Daryl
his
was
voice, though.
by the tree. No, definitely not his voice. I was going to ask him that, too.
No.
Why wouldn't they just use his voice?
Yeah, it was on the New York Comic Con. He was like, every time he does a take, they just use ADR. Like, they make him do these, like, 50 takes, and in the end they use ADR. Somebody else does the voice. It's so true.
Oh, my gosh.
It's so funny. He's really frustrated. He wants to kind of be the voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would make sense.
Yeah.
If we're seeing this whisperer, we should hear the voice that goes along with it.
Nuh-uh. Because then you can use different voices.
Nope.
I mean, it's look. If they didn't use different voices, you'd be out on your ass. Like, if you think about it, if he's the same body with the same voice, dying all the time.
Yeah.
Like, wait, is it the same guy from the last season that died?
Right.
But so
that wouldn't go well.
Yeah. This here's the frustrating part. Like, okay, since when are we not enough? Okay. In some ways, Carol is kind of turning into Alpha. Like she's being calculating like Alpha. I mean, look at the way she and Beta kind of treats their sterile soldiers. You know, like they're just props to put them up. And in some ways, she kind of uses Daryl as a prop. Like, so, okay, the capper, like the double capper. Cute, but, Daryl's like, okay, I've got this. Look, maybe our luck will be with us. Your plan's dumb, but, as long as I'm there, I can keep an eye on, like, he's thinking, I can keep an eye on her at least, keep her safe.
Right.
Meanwhile, she's like, oh, as long as he's there with me, he's not going to tell the council and stop me. It was really just kind of like a loyalty test. Okay, she says, since when are we not enough? And like he goes, well, like if we mess this up, the community's going to pay for it. And then she goes, we've already paid. And it's like they're digging the fucking knife in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the line that got me.
But that's the line that also gets him. It's like, are you not committed? Because I've paid for it. I lost my son. And it's like, are you not loyal? Because we know Carol also. Like, she is capable of emotion. However, she's also capable of trying to get whatever she wants. Like, do you remember all the times she was a chameleon at Alexandria? All the times that she, remember that we mentioned that scene that when she was out on the road trying to plead with those guys, she had the rosary and all that? Yeah. You know what she's capable of. And I think in this moment, she's pulling the same shit to Daryl right there. But I also think that Daryl sort of kind of knows. I mean, in a way, at least it's a signal to him. Oh, she's not going to stop. No matter what I do, she is not going to stop. This is my way of knowing, oh, this is not the same Carol I'm used to dealing with. She is full on committed. So I love her. I'm going to try to at least keep her safe.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously she's lying to Daryl. I don't know yet if she's got to know that he knows her well enough that he's not buying it.
Right.
But she's still doing it. Like, she's still manipulating him, even though they both know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, he knows she's lying. She knows he knows. But they're going to keep up this facade for some reason.
Right. Right. And it's like, and I even wrote down, from here on out, it's an exercise in A, staying ahead of her shady moves. Like, for real. Because B, he needs to keep her reckless ass safe. And what does she do with that? She knows that's what she knows that, okay, the jig is up. Now it's just a matter of getting him to sign on. Like, to keep signing on to this. Because he knows me, I'm crazy. Like... But that's the thing. And then the test with leaving him alone with the bag. Loyalty test failed as was planned.
Right.
Because she knew he would fail. For sure. And he knew he would fail, too. Like, fuck this. And that was enough to chink the armor. That was enough to chink his armor. It's like, oh, I fucked up. I fucked up. And so now that's exactly where she wants him. Yeah. That's exactly where she wants him. Because he's damaged. And she's taking advantage of that. He knows that Daryl's loyal to her. Like, no matter what, he can always get her to default back to being loyal to her. And that's what makes this so knowingly, like, she is using him. She's using him. And that made me so mad. Like, she knows he comes from damaged roots. That's the thing. Like, the roots of his tree is upbringing.
So does she. So does she. They have equally traumatized backgrounds.
I suppose so. But she should know better. She should know better than to force him into a situation. He would never do that to her.
He wouldn't. No.
No. And she knows that he would. She should know that he wouldn't. In fact, he's been enabling her this whole season, too.
Yeah. Carol has definitely done her fair share of reeling Daryl back in. I mean, we saw it way earlier on. That was her job, was reeling him in and keeping him close to everybody. And now we're seeing him do the same thing for her. So, I don't know. I guess I see it as more of a return favor. she's losing it. And whether or not she's even aware that she's manipulating him, she needs him, and he sees that. Like, she's losing it, and he needs to be her clarity for a while.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this somewhere along the line that, like, I don't think all relationships are equal. I mean, like,
no,
like
somebody always gives more,
right? Or does things differently, and maybe somebody makes up for it in a different way, right? Like, it's all about harmony, right? I think every mature married person knows that it's not about equality; it's about harmony, having some sort of balance, right? Okay,
in a good friendship, you have that.
Yeah, it's not always equal. Like, maybe I'll hear this person talk more. But on the other hand, they'll be there for all my gigs, let's say, or like if I do a singer-songwriter thing, right? So there's a harmony. Like in my house, it's like I'm the one to take out the trash. Period. I take care of recycling. My wife will do the cooking. It happens more often than not. Fine, but I'll always be the one to clean after. There's like balance, imbalance. You know, she does one thing. She makes the coffee every morning. That's awesome. Like, I always appreciate that. There's a French press for me every morning. That's awesome, right? I don't do shit. Like, I love doing it, but, you know. So that's the thing. So when I apply this to Daryl and Carol, okay, so maybe Daryl will have to deal with her, you know, being this way, like taking advantage of him clearly, you know, and maybe Carol is going to have to reel him in like a dog on a leash. It's like, okay, no, Pookie, take a step back from the ledge, okay? Like, he was not like a nuclear device in a knife fight. You know, he wasn't like that.
That's true.
He was like he was
only going to hurt himself.
Yeah. Well, you know, take some people down in the process. Like, yeah, he was like a wild dog, right? He would take a couple people out before killing himself, right? By evidence of the fact that he would get shot every now and again. Going back to the unequalness or the disharmony, it's like, well, he's going to have to deal with her trying to manipulate him and disrespecting their loyalty and their friendship. And maybe that's just the way it is. Fine. That really does cool my jets a little bit. Yeah. But at the same time, it just doesn't seem right, you know, to piss on your friend.
I really want to believe that she's not even aware of what she's doing.
Oh, I know she's not aware. I don't think she's aware. Of what she's throwing
it's happening.
Away.
Obviously, it's happening. Right. Yeah. Like you said, she's got blinders on right now. She has one clear mission in mind, and she's going to achieve that. She's going to achieve her goal by any means necessary. And she's doing and saying whatever she needs. You know, like, you know, she doesn't want Daryl to go back and tell people what she's doing, so she's going to keep him close.
Right.
She says, I have my friend's support here, and I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I can so he doesn't tattle on me. But
right.
Yeah,
but using him.
I look at her and I see someone in such distress that she doesn't even, if they had days of the week, she wouldn't even know what day it was.
Right.
Like, well, she's so spun out.
But, you know, it also I kind of want to take a step back because it also does kind of remind me of Carl confronting Negan. Will she have a figure like Carl in her life? Is Daryl that person? I don't think so.
I don't think,
the evidence that we've seen this whole season so far is that he's enabled her every step of the way. He believes in her. Yeah. Just like you do and I do. I believe in her.
Yeah.
I believe that she will find a way to step back. But every episode just wears away at me. I'm sure it wears away at Daryl too. That's what gets me.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, going back to Carl and Negan, it's like Carl was the only one to get him to think for a second, when did this get away from you? And after a while, when you look at Carol play these moves, you start to say to yourself, when did this get away from you? When did you have to destroy every single bridge you erected to get to your objective? What was it for? And when you finally get what you want, you're going to look behind you and go, I destroyed every single thing that I had to try to get my son's killer. And even he's not around to appreciate it. I have no Ezekiel. I have no Daryl. I have no Michonne. I'm not definitely going to have Michonne or Gabriel. Those fuckers hate me.
Right.
Like, it's like they would literally pull like a Rick at the prison and say, fuck you, goodbye. We're not going to kill you. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Can't stay here. Yeah.
You know, I see your face. You're like very sad, and I am too. It's really sad. Like, how far are you willing to go to get your objective? And will people forgive you for going there?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Can you come back from those actions? I'm hoping whatever is going on with Ezekiel is going to kind of bring her back to reality and focus on like, oh shit, there's people here still that I need to think about. Like, I don't know though. Like, I really don't know how she's going to take the news.
The only way I can see her getting to pause is Daryl going, Zeke died.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe she doesn't even care about Zeke the way she ought to, but I think there, like you said, there is got to be a part of her that is like another person that I loved. At least loved. I've lost. Mm-hmm. That's one less person in the world that is gone because of this, or she's going to think because of this, but
yeah, or at risk of losing. I mean, something's got to jerk her attention back to reality. Something.
Yeah, I don't know,
and I don't know if it'll be Zeke or whatever we see going on in the next episode.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're talking about the sickness?
Yeah, whatever's on her.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at that also, and I'm like wondering if that's just bad, like just guts and stuff. Because
the second time I looked at the picture, I thought maybe it's not like boils. Maybe it's just.
I think it's just guts.
Something that's on her hands, and then on. Yeah, it might not even be attached to her.
All right, I don't even know. I don't know what torture she's doing. Me. Yeah, that's. I don't know. I'm not saying I wish her ill will. I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking she's doing something to this guy, and that's what's on her right now, and I'm frightened for him, actually. Like, more worried for him.
I love the Carol character so much. I mean, she is so versatile. I mean, she has every side to her. I mean, she's the villain, the hero, the mom, the sister, the wife. That she's everything. She's everything. She plays every role.
Right. Another part that comes into this, and it's like, I do love her, but I also love the other characters. And if what she does threatens the lives of the other characters around her, then no, fuck her. Mm-hmm. Because there's the dual role of having to love that person, but also realize, okay, I love you, but there's a point where I have to back away from you. It's just like, I love you so much that I just have to back away from you and kind of give you the middle finger right now. Because you need to step off, you need to step back from what you're trying to do, or at least include other people in that plan. That's all I'm asking. Mm-hmm. Let people know what you're going to do and say, fuck you, I'm doing it anyway, and then at least we have some sort of knowledge about what's going on so we can prepare for the fallout in case it happens. Yeah. Because that's the only thing that really that put me over the edge, is that, like, at least if you're going to say fuck you anyway, I'm doing what I'm going to do. Okay, well, at least now they know to kind of, okay, should we prepare the walls? Should we at least tell the Whisperers, she's a lone wolf. You can do whatever you want.
We don't know her.
Exactly. Like, you saw her on the border. She's untethered. She is crazy. Maybe you should adopt her. I don't know. Maybe they'll take her. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Right. She's probably going into this thinking she's not going to make it out alive. She's going to go down fighting. I don't know if she's really thinking about a fallout, because maybe she doesn't see herself in an aftermath.
Yeah. So you're playing the whole she's so fucked up that it's like a walking disaster. Like, but that makes it all the more important for, like, instead of Daryl enabling her, you know, knowing that she's a disaster, right?
Yeah.
To like put up every single roadblock that she can to it, not in her way, but like in the path of any fallout from any of her actions. Like, okay, I can't stop her, but I can at least mitigate the damage. Like, I can at least try to prepare for the the possibility that what she does is going to make all of us suffer. So instead of enabling her, it's like, okay, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, obviously in Carol's mind, she's not going to fail. Like, she has a plan. She's going to execute it. It's going to happen how she planned it, and
Right.
that'll be the end of it. And I think
Your
in
lips
her
to
mind,
God's ears.
right. I mean, right. It all looks good on paper,
Right.
and it all makes sense when you lay it out like that. Obviously, that's not how it's going to go, because that's never how life goes. But she could be thinking, like, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to end it, and I'm not going to make it out alive. So
Right.
I don't need to involve anybody else, because I'm going to take care of this. When I've taken care of what I needed to, I'm gonna go down fighting. And so she's taking care of everybody in her mind. Obviously,
Right.
it's not going to go this way.
Always, right.
But in her mind, right, she
twisted
saved
mind.
everyone by sacrificing herself.
Right.
Her
Meanwhile,
twisted mind, right. And now here Daryl is like following her along, and she's like, dude, you're kind of screwing up my plan. Like, I'm trying to do this lone wolf style, and now here you are, and all right,
Cramping
well,
my
I guess
style.
you're along for the ride. Yeah, you're along for the ride now too, because if I let you go back, you're going to tell everybody what I'm up to.
right. So I might as well rope you in any way possible, disrespecting our friendship in the
Exactly.
process. Right. Gotcha.
Right.
but
Because
that-
she's on a one-track mind.
When they reach a point where the twig snaps and whatever Carol's plan kind of goes awry, or maybe that was intentional, maybe,
Could be.
right? To attract the walkers / whisperers enough so that they could
And make her break and separate. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even
separate.
think about that being intentional.
right. And
But it could have been.
remember, Daryl was like, "You got to get back more. You just got to go back."
Uh-huh.
This is a reconnaissance mission. We're supposed to get info on the herd. And she's like,
Right.
no, we're staying here. Like, hand motions, we're staying here. And then snap. And then, again, it could have been intentional. Okay, they separate. Now, what happens? What was Daryl's rules? It was 3 rules.
Well, I remember if we get split up to meet back at the border,
Right. No dead walkers.
be safe. Oh, yes. Okay, those ones, yeah.
Leave no tracks. Don't be seen. Okay? Now, here's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if she gave a flip about any of those rules. Like, maybe she wanted to be seen so that she can capture the thing, and who knows what other whisperers saw that. And so I'm thinking to myself, this is what I'm thinking of when she's like, oh, Alpha, fuck you. I guess go to your guys. Yeah. I don't care if you saw me. Oh, yeah. I can just totally see that happening. Because, I mean, I know you have faith in her, and I do too, but it's there's the assuming that the twig snap was real. And then there's assuming that,
Right.
and she was acting, really reckless. It's like, dude, if you're really spying on the Horde, like you said you promised you were and going to tell on the council, well, you could do that back there. Fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But, everything she does is making us trust her less and less and less. Even though she probably knows what she's doing, she is not in the right mind. As much as I want to trust her.
Yeah, I think the writers are they're trying to take away our faith in her, and then all of a sudden we're going to find out the big finale, and we're going to be like, oh, she knew what she was doing all along.
No.
I'm not tricked so easily. I have faith. My girl knows what she's doing.
Oh, I got my fingers crossed as you speak. That's what I'm, you know what? That's fine. And I'll be okay with that. Again, I don't like that she had to go there to get it done. It doesn't make it right.
To snatch a
To
whisper?
destroy her best friend's relationship. To get what she wanted.
I mean, do you think their relationship is destroyed? I
No,
didn't
but I
get
think-
that at all.
I don't think it's destroyed. I think he's doing his best to keep it together, to be honest. I really do think she's taking advantage of his loyalty to kind of get what she wants. I don't know. Maybe we're capable of more than we say we are, but I would never lie to my wife to get something I really, really wanted that I know that I shouldn't have. That's, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'll be honest with her and say, I really want that thing, and I'll try to convince her.
Okay, yeah. When you can be honest, there's no point in lying.
Yeah.
But there must be a reason. See, that's where my faith in Carol comes from. There must be a reason that she's doing this. I don't know what it is yet, but
then it's not worth
I
it.
trust that it's for a good reason.
Well, I mean, how worth it can it be? And when was Daryl not enough to get it done? Right?
She did just spend
It
3
goes
months
both
away
ways.
from everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
There was a bit of separation there.
3
for
months planning this shit out.
decent amount of time. Well, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no kidding.
She was all happy and smiley coming back. Oh, 'cause she knew that she'd start her plan.
Yeah,
again,
she's like, all right, I'm here to fuck shit up.
But then again, then came the dreams. And so, see, there's like little things that make me doubt that.
Yeah.
Like the dreams came. She must have been having dreams, or maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was fine. But coming back has brought all the shit back. And so I think that that can't be accurate. Right?
I mean, can't we ultimately blame Daryl for not letting her get back on the boat? She wanted to leave. Let's be honest. She didn't want to be here.
Yeah, that little bit
Daryl
of Rick,
pretty much made her stay.
that little bit of Rick in him, right?
Yeah.
Like
We need you.
We need to
We
bring our
need you.
communities together. Yeah, exactly. Michonne was too. Like she said that in the woods. She said she needs to be with us. Yeah.
And I agree, but I mean,
Now I
she
don't.
didn't want to be there.
Like,
Yeah, she didn't want
goodbye.
to be there. She wanted to get back on that boat and leave again.
Yeah,
Daryl
well,
should have let
we
her.
don't agree because we're selfish and we want her to stay
Yeah.
with us on the show.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like, but like we don't think about her mental health. We're the assholes. That's what it comes down to. We're
Yes.
horrible. We're
Yes.
horrible and selfish. We love Carol. we want to see her like fuck Daryl.
Wait, mentally, right?
Sorry, I got caught in my brain.
Crickets.
I was working something out. It's like, oh no, that's all I can see now. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But now
I mean,
I started
I gotta-
thinking of a three-way. Him, Daryl, everybody's happy. Connie, Carol, and Daryl.
Bonus content.
Bonus. No, that's staying in the mix.
That's staying in.
Staying in. We're gonna clip that up. It's gonna be playing on our website.
On repeat.
It's gonna be on YouTube Kids. And then we'll be accused of child bullying again.
Somebody's gonna remix it, and then it's gonna be ringtones.
Kill these kids. Fuck. You remember that?
We're gonna get canceled. Yeah,
Exactly. So canceled. Yeah.
we're gonna get kicked off the internet.
Hashtag worth it.
Oh my god.
Go out with a bang. Literal. Sort of.
Right? Oh
Um,
my gosh.
Yeah. I do want to go back to the question, though. This was intentional. That was her plan all along, right?
To catch a
Whether the
whisper?
twig snap was intentional, that's up to debate, right?
Yeah.
But her trying to capture Whisper, that was her plan all along. She played
Yeah, I
Daryl like
think
a fiddle on that one.
Yeah, I think I can jump on that train. Yeah, I think that was probably her intentions. If it happened, it happened. I mean, she wanted it to happen, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but I think you're right.
Yeah. Now, I wrote this, and we've been classically calling her reckless, right? Does this move a
Some
little
of
bit?
us.
Well, but you know what? Wait, I heard you say that. Like blinded by, I said blinded by rage. That's way
Yeah.
worse. She's still trying to calculate exactly how it is to be the most effective. She's intelligent, clearly. She knows the moves. She's taking advantage of everything, but she's also sacrificing her friendships in order to complete the objective. So the reckless doesn't even, like, reckless implies, and this is what we said before, reckless implies, oh, she's not thinking at all. No. I said this goes beyond reckless, because reckless implies, okay, no thought, just trying to get what she wants. No, there's thought. In her calculus, she's saying, okay, I could risk my friendship with Daryl in this moment because that's going to get me closer to what I want. She's making a decision. I don't know what the word is to describe what's going on now, because now she's making a cost-benefit ratio of, okay, if I do make this move and I keep Daryl on my side to try to get what I want, he's not going to go back to council, but I have to basically chip away at him in order to get to it, because he's going to find out when I bring this guy back that I fucked him over majorly. So she's taking a calculated risk here and trying to, I think maybe in the back of her head, let's put ourselves in her shoes. Let's be fair, right? She's thinking to herself, is our friendship enough to last this moment? Probably, right?
Yeah. Is it strong enough?
You see in the next scenes in the next episode that their friendship is going to continue to be tested to get what she wants out of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting to look at this episode and look at the last. Was the last episode the one with the Gordy song?
It was Silence the Whispers. Heaven
Right.
I Know.
Right. I feel like that
episode 4 had Gordy in it. Yeah.
Right. I feel like that episode and this episode go really hand in. They're like brother and sister episodes. Because the first one is all about bonds that will always be forever, but you have to be okay with them floating apart. And this episode is bonds that are being strained to their limit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the idea of this, of like how this is playing out. Because there's an overall theme of this happening throughout the whole season so far. Of like relationships being tested, bonds being tested. Magna, Yumiko, Luke, Kelly, Connie, Daryl, Carol, Beta, Alpha. Everybody's being tested. Loyalty's being tested. People are getting paranoid. Community cohesion. It's crazy. That's what it takes for this season. That's what the season's all about. Daryl realizing the rules that he sets, and he's pinned in a corner. He has to snap the walker's neck so it doesn't move anymore and doesn't talk anymore, and still manage to get the guts out while it's still moving around, sorta. And he's frightened. And that made me even more mad, by the way. When I see him...
Yeah, I mean...
He's holding the knife. He's shivering. That's what really got me. I'm like, shit.
What if he had died?
Yeah.
What if she had gotten him killed?
Right. Could have well have happened. Not only that, there's a lot of things going on in his mind. And from his perspective, he's not thinking about that in the moment. Like, oh, what if she killed me? He's not thinking of that. He's thinking, I better keep these rules. This is new Daryl now. This is not reckless Daryl. Like, I'll kill everybody and get hurt in the process. No, he's like, if I fuck this up, this is going to go back to the community. The horde will be released. Everybody will die, including Carol, including me. Judith, all these kids, all these kids all these old people that we are taking care of now. Like, it's on me at this moment. I'm put in this fucking position because of this bitch. No, he's not thinking of that. But like, he's thinking it's on me all of a sudden, all at once. And I'm trying to think of any moment where he's taken that on 100% fully in the moment. And I'm trying to think of it, and I don't think he's ever felt the weight of that responsibility all at once in that moment. I don't think so. I don't think he's been tested in that way. Because even when he was on his knees,
having to take care of everyone.
Well, meaning like having to think of everyone with his actions. Because I'll tell you, it's such a stark contrast between him kneeling with Negan's bat, breathing down everybody's neck. And him taking a bold swing and knocking him and trying to knock Negan out. That was crazy. So look at that contrast of that. Like him, I'm afraid to roid out. And like
last time he did, someone actually did die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking of all these things are probably swirling around in his brain. I don't want to get Glenn killed again or Abraham. I don't want to get the people in the community killed. The council needs to know about this. I got to still take care of Carol.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. In that moment, his thought isn't, oh, God, she's going to get me killed. His thought is probably,
I need to make
sure she doesn't get killed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's not even thinking about the possibility of him dying. I'm positive he's thinking, I need to save her. Well, not save her. No, you know what I mean. I need to look out for
check her. Yeah, exactly. So now I'm going to do the last swing. And this will probably get. I'm thinking this may get you on my side. What is she thinking right now? I'm like emotional. Like, what is she thinking right now?
During that whole thing,
in that moment, what do you think? What do you think in that moment that she's thinking of? Not him.
I don't want to say what she's. I don't want to say what
Not Daryl.
I think she's thinking.
That's all I want to say. Not Daryl. That breaks my heart. Because she knows he can take care of himself, but as you can see, he's terrified.
Right.
And then in that same moment, I think
is he? I guess I didn't.
Yeah, rewatch that scene.
He didn't look.
He's
I
terrified.
guess I'll have to watch it again because
he's terrified. Absolutely terrified. Okay. And for a variety of reasons, like not pure fear.
That scene's really dark. and so I didn't get a good look at his face.
I encourage everybody to
and
watch that scene.
Turn the like brightness up again or something. I don't think I got a good look at his face because I didn't get the impression that he was afraid in that moment.
Yeah,
he handled it so well.
He did. He was, I mean, quick thought, but like, he couldn't help himself from, his hand was, as he's holding the dagger, he's shivering. You know, he's like this. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough watch because I guess
I saw movement, but I thought he was like, adjusting his grip. Yeah. Like type of, like one of these, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I will have to go back and watch it again because. But it was, like I said, it was just very dark.
You can hear the shallowness of his breath, too. That's what got me. Mm-hmm. And then I flip back to, what is Carol thinking now?
I think Carol's thinking, now's my chance.
Yeah. I'm thinking of two things right now. I'll tell you what it is. One, the more serious thing is, I thought of Carl getting bit while trying to take out walkers with Siddiq. And I kept thinking to myself, any moment in the apocalypse, our number could be up. No matter how capable we are. And so and Daryl and Carol are not immune. No, you're not enough. You need to make sure you bring backup. You know, like you're like a buddy cop film. Like you got to call for backup. Yeah, but especially in the zombie apocalypse. What are you, fucking crazy? Okay, so but the second thing and the less serious thing is I thought of the Hillary Clinton line. It's like with Gaddafi. We came We came, we saw he died. Like, it was so, like, that's what I'm thinking Carol is thinking. Like, I got him. Oh, my gosh. I'm bringing him back. Like, Daryl? Oh, well.
Oh.
But,
oh, my gosh.
But, like, no, like, maybe it's too, like, I'm playing. Like, obviously she'd be, I don't know. I
devastated.
I know she'd be devastated, but maybe that would be the thing. But why does it have to get to that point? Right. And if he was 100% okay, and he is, it never crossed her mind that something could happen to Daryl. Not at all. And that's what gets me.
Yeah.
And here Daryl's like fretting. I want to make sure she's safe.
I don't think it would cross her mind anyway because she knows he's so capable. I mean, he lived in the woods by himself for 6 years. He's capable.
Yeah, but they weren't well, maybe they were, but they didn't know at the time.
There could have been. Yeah.
But there could be,
they could have been everywhere.
Yeah.
But
is she thinking that's the cost of doing business in the apocalypse? I mean, if so,
well,
like, it doesn't mean that you have to worry about that somebody's going to die. But if you're going to definitely purposely put them in a situation that is, fraught with peril, it's like, okay. I don't know.
Well, like you said, I mean, in the apocalypse, any day could be your time.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, every day is a gift. So
she knew full well she dragged him into that situation, though. After covering what we covered, it's like she knew she was deliberately putting him into that situation. And if she didn't let's say something did happen, he got bit, very least. I mean, at some point she's gonna have to register that on her conscience.
Yeah. You know? How could she have avoided him coming along though? She would have had to tell him at the gates what she was actually doing.
Right.
I mean, he kind of pushed his way into the situation too. Like, he didn't really give her much of a choice. He said, "Do you want company?" But he really should have said, "I'm coming with you."
Right. But he's had good evidence to be like, you've been pulling some shit.
Oh, that she needs some? Well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I'm saying, I mean,
and maybe that's their way. I don't know.
We can't say Carol dragged him into it because he was going to follow her. He was going to follow no matter what.
That's the problem. Carol knows that. That's where the taking advantage part comes in.
But it wasn't going to stop her. It wasn't going to stop her, and it wouldn't stop you. It wouldn't stop me. If I had a mission, if I was on a mission, I would be on it.
Here's the distinction. Here's the clear distinction. It's the difference between letting him go and calling in the council, and then finding a way to do a loyalty test to get him to come along purely so he doesn't go to the council. That's the difference. That's the clear difference. Like, you see the move she's playing by leaving the bag, knowing he's going to rifle through it. Aha, I got you where I want you. When were we not enough? So it's this series of events that gets him to come along, and after that she can do whatever she wants because she clearly doesn't listen to him. She's clearly saying, look, you're too close. Step back. He's like, I got this. Like, snap. And it's like, Yeah, right where I want him. It's like she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a bit more of an oblivious person, but watching it, not 1 second did I think she was manipulating him any way.
But now I'm hoping that
in any way.
I've laid the groundwork, so if you do watch the scenes again, you're like, she knows full well.
I mean, I can play them back in my head. I mean, I can see some of the spots where you're talking about, and I could, I could say, okay, sure, I could see that, but I don't know. It never, and again, this could just be me being oblivious. Like maybe I don't recognize those things, but that's not what I saw happening there.
I'm sorry for you. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry that you see all the stress on this relationship. Yeah, I mean, you see the stress.
There is definitely, like, you can't. The only thing you can't say is there's definitely a strain.
Yes.
On this relationship, mostly due to Carol's actions, and I'll accept that. I will concede. That. Yes. Yeah. Beyond that, that's all. Like, that's me seeing things there that maybe not everybody sees. That's fine.
Well, which is why I brought up the fact that maybe she is manipulating him, but I don't know that she's aware that she's doing it because I didn't see it.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say about that is, like, we both know how calculating she can be. So I mean, at first I was like, that's why I was saying before, like, I think this moves beyond reckless, because to say that she's being reckless is minimizing her, in my opinion, because I know she's smart. I know she knows the moves. She knows what's required. And so she's got a plan. With that in mind, it's kind of like saying she knows what she's going to have to do to get Daryl on board. She knows exactly what she needs to say, what situation she needs to put him in to kind of get him to come along and not go back to the council to get them to stop her. And she knows exactly what needs to happen thenceforth to kind of make sure her plan goes out without a hitch. Daryl be damned, is what I'm saying. She knew that she was going to have to risk her friendship with Daryl to a point. Not even to a point. I don't know if she saw a limit. That's my question. I don't know where the limit is.
I find myself just sort of repeating a lot of the same things, even in my notes. Beta doesn't trust Negan. Negan's loud.
Although,
like that, those are my notes.
As I'm watching this, I'm like, doesn't the way they talk kind of remind you of the Heapsters a little bit? Like curt statements. Like, and the Heapsters are like 1 word, 2 words, but like, like the Alpha is the only one who really gets to talk. Like, even Beta's kind of like, he cannot be trusted. like,
you do that really well.
It's the best I can do. That's really
noise, constant.
So, but the only thing I wrote was,
it's not wrong. Negan is loud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I even wrote something down about that. But like who? So I wrote down in big letters, who is being tested, Negan or Beta?
Oh, right.
If you think about it,
both of them. They're both being tested.
Yeah.
I mean, Alpha even says, when he says he's a threat, and she says, to Alpha or to Beta?
Right.
Yeah. She sees what's going on.
Yeah, I think she's trying to keep him in line, right?
Absolutely.
Like yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Negan's putting the squeeze right back.
Don't think you're not replaceable, Beta.
Oh, that's harsh. Oh, I'm feeling for him. Why am I feeling for him? It's terrible.
Because we love him and we want him to be a good person.
Yeah.
I feel like they're planting seeds for at least some. I mean, maybe not the one I want, but for some whisperers to jump over onto our wagon. I mean, they are talking about better life with us, and they have food and beds and babies.
Actual babies. Oh, this could be
babies.
This is good.
That we don't have to sacrifice.
Yeah, like in a pit with coals. Off you go, baby.
It's so tender.
Pigs suck. This is the new pig.
Yeah.
The other
but,
white meat.
They didn't. Right. They didn't have to include that. Right. They didn't have to include that scene. But they did. So I feel like
the
when the whisperers come up to Francis and are like, oh, we saw, was it Francis or was it Gamma? No, it was Francis. When
Francis,
they're talking about
Gamma's sister.
Yeah.
Oh, we saw the livestock.
They're saying, hey, some of us have been talking. Yeah. That little seed.
Yeah.
You know, some of us have been talking.
Right, exactly.
We see that they have a better life. You know, things like that.
Right, trying to make her feel better. Right? Mm-hmm. Things going on behind the scenes. And Alpha and Beta, mostly, I think, knows this. I think that's why he's so distrustful, because every now and again they have to kind of like beat them into submission to kind of adhere to this weird kind of communist society.
Yeah.
The state is supreme and all this stuff. But it all goes back to loyalty, bonds, right? Like, and so
bonds,
and so Beta's like squeezed in the middle. Like, it's a squeeze play. Like, Alpha is kind of almost punishing him to deal with Negan. Negan's kind of giving it right back, and it's like, fuck, man, all I try to do is loyal. And then when she sees him, like, does Beta want to be the Alpha? He's panicking. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm nothing without you. What the hell? You know, I'm just trying to point out some shit, just like the other guy tried to before, unsuccessfully. Right? I mean, in some ways. Yeah, what makes Beta so special, though? Also, like,
their bond.
Yeah, I guess so. You're right. You're right, 100%. But but maybe Alpha is making him aware that, like you said, is like, at any given moment, I could snap my fingers and you could be just like that guy. You know, if I decide to.
Right, you're only this much more special than the rest.
Isn't that kind of like a signal to us that Negan will be taking his place? In a way.
Beta?
Yeah.
Beta?
For Negan to take Beta's place. At Alpha's side. I think
that's what Negan's trying to do.
Well, I'm just saying even Alpha's saying that to Beta, the way that she said it. That's kind of almost a signal to us that Beta's not expendable, but like Alpha's a megalomaniac. Like, she's such an egomaniac.
Well, this is a complete power trip for her over Beta. Like, going back, didn't you also say it was part punishment for Beta to be testing Negan because he's been questioning her judgment so often lately? She's like, you know what, fuck you. Like, you need to remember who's in charge. Yeah, you need to remember who's in charge here. And I'm gonna, here's your punishment. Hang out with this doofus all day and be annoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
And then at the end when Negan finally kneels to her, right, which was like, whoa,
what a moment. And by the way, there's a line before that, like how he's talking to Beta about kneeling. He's like, I've had people do that for me, but I never did the deed myself. And you see at the end of the episode, he kneels like just straight away.
It's a big deal
without being asked.
And then she comes over. And I'm like, and my first thought was, Carol and I have been waiting for this moment, right? Like, I'm like so sad that she's not here right now.
Me
but
too.
We've been waiting for this moment between Alpha and Negan, because that moment when they finally meet was going to kind of give her and I sort of an idea of where this relationship was going to go in comparison to the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So when this first happens and she kneels down and she gets really close to his face, I thought, don't kiss him. I really, for a split second, I'm like, don't why would you do that? But she would do it in front of Beta to just drive him more nuts, right?
What happens in the comic, though? Is there a similar scene?
No, there's not a similar scene, but just the dynamic between the two, between Negan and Alpha. Well, mostly Negan towards Alpha. Yeah.
As we've spoken about last episode.
Yeah, more than that. But she also kind of plays into it too. Like, I don't know if it's that she likes the attention or if this is just part of her ploy in the books, but she does kind of play on that. Like, she recognizes that Negan finds her attractive, or is at least they're both playing each other, so it's hard to keep it all straight. But he's acting like he's finding her attractive, and she's acting like she likes that, and so they're sort of playing that off of each other. But I don't see that dynamic on the show, which I'm glad for, because I think Samantha Morton is playing this character in a completely different way than the comics. And I like it, and I want her to continue doing that. I think if there's sort of this flirtatious attraction between the two of them, it'll take away from the alpha character that we know.
Right. Because you can even say, I mentioned this comment briefly, I think it was in the last episode, that Bob Kirkman's vision and voice is sometimes a little bit more male-centric. So his character sounds like
sometimes a little bit.
So they look like they look how males would see them. Or would idealize them, and they sound kind of like. And by the way, Chuck, you know the guy who wrote Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk, right? He does that too. I've read a lot of his books, and his female characters sound a lot like men.
Okay. Like
as much as he's probably like a big ass feminist, he writes his characters like men. Like his women characters like men. So sometimes that's why I always try to pay attention to dialogue and like, okay, do these women sound like women? Do these men sound like men? And does the writer, can they write in like in different kind of gendered like voices? Like a girl wouldn't say "suck my dick, motherfucker." Like I mean, well, depending on the character, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But like character independent. Like when I see like. I don't think that woman would say that. Like that particular woman would say that. The character that you're trying to build would say that. That sounds like if that character was differently cast as a man would say that. Like that with those traits. Sounds like a man.
Right.
So this could be a distinct moment where, you know, as the showrunner is Angela Kang, and then Scott Gimple has been pretty receptive and working really well with all the other producers, Gail Ann Hurd, Denise Huth, also women. I can see, I mean, in looking at Samantha Morton, like God bless her, she's a terrific actor.
Oh. Yeah.
The way that they're building her character visually isn't as comic book perfect, obviously. She's a beautiful woman, but she's not obviously, you know, the idealized Bob Kirkman comic book drawn figure. Let's just acknowledge that, right?
Correct. I would agree. Yes. Yeah.
Having that in mind. And having the voice idea in mind, like how we draw female characters in mind, as Bob Kirkman would. And it's not a slight. It's just something I notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a good female empowerment moment. Like stop having a pissing fight, you two. Like this is what I'm going to do. Like so they might take this in a completely different direction than what we're expecting it to go. Which might enable the moment where, like, okay, Carol could take her out, or might enable the moment for them to go in a completely different way, or have her stick around longer than she should, or take Beta out first before Alpha, that sort of thing. So it's something to consider, right?
Like,
but it would be cooler. Definitely cooler. If they kind of take her female power, like her intelligence, first of all, with all she's doing, the religion of the Whisperers, how they built that out. And how much power that has behind her, and then move that forward, and make the men look like idiots for pissing on each other the whole time, right? This could be, and that would kind of almost, and there's always this little power in trying to get your audience to kind of not really root for the enemy, but kind of be like, damn girl, like damn, that's a boss move, right?
Yeah. If what I want to happen doesn't happen, then Beta's gonna be killed,
right?
Because he's the bad guy. I mean, that's what happens to bad guys, right? Unless you're Negan.
He's a useful idiot. I mean, unfortunately,
right? I would love nothing more than to see Ryan Hurst join the cast forever and ever until the end of the series.
Right.
If that happens, I would be ecstatic. If not, I'm probably gonna cry for another 9 weeks, like I did after Glenn died.
No way, really?
You
do see how damaged he is. Like he's irreparably damaged.
Beta?
As a person, yeah.
Well, which is going to make it even worse, right?
Oh,
so
because he's so innocent in a way.
I mean, he's just this like innocent puppy dog following Alpha everywhere. Like he doesn't even have an identity. His identity is to do her bidding. I mean, you said it earlier. You know, like that's it. That's what who is he without her?
Right.
And if he dies before he gets the chance to know who he is without her, like that is going to crush me. Absolutely crushed.
Isn't that interesting, right? Okay. Look at the way Alpha has Beta wrapped around her finger.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to like this. But it's the very definition of taking somebody who's unstable and manipulating them to their ends. So like I'm like looking at the way. This is why I said what I said before about Carol kind of taking a playbook from Alpha. Like, you're manipulating your best friend to get to your aims. Like and like you're giving him a purpose. Like, okay, he's not ratting on me, but like, you know, now he can assist me in my aims. Like, because I worked him to the point where he's useful to me. And so that's why I noticed that parallel. Like, oh wow, this could get fucked up if this keeps going. Or if Daryl doesn't snap out of it and just finally puts his foot down and says, which he tried to do, God bless him. Like, he really tried to do that in this episode, and I really kind of commended him for it. Like, he's trying to be this, what he really believes is, like, this is the way to go. Yeah. I honor Rick this way. It seems to be working. Negan's even admitting it to Brandon in the last episode. Yeah. That ain't no lie. You know, like, this ain't no joke. I mean, I do like when he finally steps out and says, look, Carol, you got to stop. You got to get some backup here. Come on, man. Like, finally, after watching her take those pills and like try to keep watch. Okay, the knife breaking again. His pig sticker breaking again. I keep trying to think of what that means. By the way, that happens to him twice, and the best I can think of is, oh, it's a running gag. Everybody hates Negan, right? Or all knives hate Negan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any extra meaning to it other than exactly what it is, which is an added challenge, especially for this episode, because he was surrounded by walkers. What the hell happened, dude? I think I need a little bit of clarification here, because there weren't no dumpsters for him to roll under. So what happened there?
Yeah,
he was surrounded.
You know, whatever did happen there, he seemed to walk out of it. I don't know if he walked out of it unscathed. He looks kind of gaunt, actually. like as badass as he looks, he's kind of sallow. He's like, his face is kind of white and pale. Like, did you notice that?
No.
Oh, just watch it again. It's a little like after like you're kind of like, oh yes, you do have humongous balls. Oh my.
This was probably the only episode that I was like, Negan.
Right. Exactly.
Ever.
Right. And you're like almost like, I don't think I should be feeling this way.
I feel a little bit bad.
Yeah. I don't have a fan, but I have a hand.
That's why I keep this around.
But then
just in case.
But then after I look at his face, I'm like, oh, he looks like he's done for the day. Like, can I get an extra? Can I sleep in, boss? You know, like, he looks.
Yeah.
I think it's the contrast of the blood around his neck and face, and then like.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah, and contrasted with his face color. He looks kind of fucked up right there.
He probably is a little bit fucked up. That was a lot. There were a lot of walkers. That was a lot of walkers for one person to take down.
Yeah. My big balls.
With basically no weapon. He had to find a log.
Yeah. It didn't look like a log by the end of it, but it looked like a big ass femur.
I was gonna say it kind of had Lucille's shape.
Oh God.
It was.
Yeah, I guess so. Like it's like
slightly in a bat form, you know, narrow, little wider towards the end, but still branchy looking.
Right. A gigantor Lucille or something.
Right.
That log was thirsty. It looked it.
Right? Oh my gosh.
It was gross.
Picked a good log too.
Yeah. I called it log seal.
Log seal. Yes. It's log seal.
I'm going to give myself a heart attack one day.
That's awesome. I love it. Coined.
Oh. And I feel like it needs to be pointed out that the Whisperer that was hunting that shot the arrow into the pig is the one that shared the meat,
food,
the pork with Negan, and he shouldn't have, and was the one that Beta subsequently slashed the throat of when he left him, when he made the joke. Says, "Good, I guess you aren't leaving here alive." You know, so
right. Did you make a joke? Oh my gosh! Kind of towards the beginning, even when Negan and Beta are walking wherever and he's still blindfolded. He makes a comment and Negan says, "I've been locked up for 8 years by your enemy."
Right.
So he makes a definitive time reference there.
2 + 8.
Yeah.
We're hitting 10. So we're on that line.
So from the middle of season 9 to now, It's been 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of All Out War was just a little over 2 years. Like, sorry, not All Out War. Everything up until All Out War was about 2+ years, just give or take, right? Add 6.
We could go all night on timelines.
Right. Add 6 and then another year and change baby plus season change for what happened. So like we're almost at the 10-year mark. Just put it that way. That's so I love how they're fixing it along the way. They're kind of, oh, okay, this is how far we are. Like almost by fiat, like we're 10 years in.
Right. That's what they'll have us believe anyway. But if that's true, then Judith would be much younger.
Oh God.
Judith is my time marker.
Oh, you sappy mother, you.
She's how I keep track of the timeline.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going by, I'll just go by, because at a certain point you're like, okay, it's going to be whatever they want it to be.
It is. It really is.
Because who wants to think about that shit?
Which is why we could go all night on timelines.
And I, you know what? That's the thing. Like, I don't see this often anymore, but I used to see it more often, like around the Lost days, and then henceforth, like people trying to catch shows in plot holes, quote unquote. It's like it's not really a plot hole. If you want to get caught up in the details, by all means, why don't you ruin your own experience? That's fine.
Are you kidding me?
All about the story to me, man.
Even with all these little things that don't quite add up, I am still so incredibly impressed with how well it still does line up. Like,
right.
Yeah, there's things that we could sit here and poke holes in, but for the most part, everything tracks. And then on top of that, fear tracks.
Yeah, surprisingly well.
Right. So even with these little things that I don't quite agree with, it is still incredibly impressive.
Like choices, right? Like, we can criticize choices, but like at the same time, like, okay, like the timeline tracks, what they're trying to do seems like it's tracking, but I kind of like the world that they're building. That's the thing is, okay, maybe everything doesn't jive perfectly, but they're trying to build a world, and it's sometimes if you get lost in the details, you it's almost like you're ruining your own experience. It's like, okay, this is going to be a bad analogy, but I might as well. Okay, like let's say you're having sex, right?
Jeez. This is gonna be good.
If you're gonna concern yourself with the temperature in the room and how the light is hitting you a certain way, and how I got an itch on my elbow. No, put that shit out of your mind. Just do the sex thing.
Yeah.
The sword thing.
Yeah, you're thinking too much about details that don't really matter to the main storyline.
Right. I mean, focus on distracting yourself enough to get through the thing. I mean, not get through the thing, but I'm just saying, like, just to keep you in the moment. That's the thing. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be messy. Overall, with Beta and Negan. But I think both Negan and Beta kind of tip their hand as to what they're after. Like, Negan in Droplets goes, I'm not here for you. I'm here for Alpha. Yeah. And no matter what you think you're going to do right now, he's kind of like goading him and saying, no matter what test you're going to put me through, it's ultimately not up to you. You can I can fail your tests, and I'll still appeal to Alpha, and I'll still win. Like, and that's the like, she will override you, because he saw that shit early on when he kneeled. He's like literally telling Beta what you did. You just fucked up right now. Because now I know who has the pants in the family.
Yep.
And no matter what you put me through, she's not going to listen to you. She will listen to me.
It almost would have been wiser for Alpha to let Negan believe Beta was the leader.
Right. I think Negan would have sniffed it out anyway.
Well, as a leader, yes, he would have instantly recognized another leader. He would have figured it out pretty quickly that he wasn't, but
right.
But it would have been smart to try and do that instead.
Right. But I agree. That's but then again, that would minimize her in front of her peers too. You know what I mean? Like, their thing is about, I'm dominant and I know it. And everybody knows it. Dogs know it. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't jive on the narrative level. But on that note of people around her, everything that Negan does is on full display to everybody around them. And don't you think that there aren't other saviors along for the Whisperer ride?
Oh, 100%. There are saviors in with the Whisperers. Absolutely. There are people under those masks that know exactly who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, do you think
probably a good number of them?
A good chunk.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that Alpha and Beta know that?
No.
Ooh, they don't know what they're after.
No, they have no idea. Well, because they don't care where people come from.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have asked. They wouldn't have asked, "Who were you with before we found you?"
They're so deep into their own fart smell that they can't. The whole thing about their religion.
Yeah.
That they can't. Nobody. We brainwashed them to death. They're not going to think of anything else.
Right.
Our way is the right way. Like, oh wait, you want out? Okay.
This just popped into my head.
What?
And it's kind of sick. How many of the saviors do you think are wearing other saviors' faces?
Oh my God. Wow. And the answer to that question is, first of all, is definitely yes. Well, I don't know. I think it's definitely a possibility, and it's definitely happened. But that will say more about what they've had to become too. Mm-hmm. To survive.
Could you imagine somebody walking around with like Simon's face?
Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Wouldn't
Can
it?
we get a? What if we missed it? What if there was a Simon mask and we missed it? We completely missed it.
And they could still do that, right? I mean, just because he was a walker strapped to the fence, they still could have taken his face.
Yeah, of course. So the fence came down, or I don't know, who knows?
He wasn't there when Negan went back.
You know what, though?
He was gone.
Do you remember this? Do you remember the beginning of Fear the Walking Dead season 4, where the communities are kind of planting plants and stuff like that, and at the sanctuary? They probably took care of Simon.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
That's
right?
true. That's true. Yeah.
Aren't you a little sad? There's no Walker
you're right.
Simon in the world.
Yeah, they wouldn't have just like released him either. They definitely would have put him down. Oh man,
Simon, go free. You deserve it.
Right?
You've earned it.
Go live your Walker life.
Live your truth.
live your best life.
Live your zombie truth. Goodbye. Goodbye. He's like, "Arr."
Bye.
And remember Walker Simon? He was like, "Arr, arr."
He was so good.
He was like almost full on. Oh, remember Lost Boys? The how the vampires were acting in Lost Boys, like
vaguely.
They would like stick their tongues out and stuff.
Yes.
Like it's somewhere like some sort of 80s punk version
weird.
of a vampire. That's what Simon reminded me of in that moment.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Well, and it's always tough when we see the human and then they turn into a walker and they have to do the walker stuff.
Like Merle as well. Like Merle as a walker was very distinct, right?
Oh, you just kicked me right in the gut with that one.
Sorry.
Because I instantly, the whole scene just played where he looks up and then Daryl does his what's in the box face. Oh,
yeah, exactly. And then Merle going
getting up all slow
with the stringy kind of thing. Yeah.
That was hard. That was a hard scene to watch too.
We wanted to see.
Yep.
Well, we didn't want to see that, but yeah. But we paid good money to see the other thing. We wanted to show because we're terrible people. We drag these people through the dirt.
Sorry, I just had another random thought in my head.
Oh, please!
You know
the best.
the Whisperer that shared food with Negan. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was a savior.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Though. That's what I was leading towards.
Yeah, he shared with him because he knew who he was.
Yeah, we also know.
I just figured some of them were decent humans.
Yeah. Well, we also know some things that we can't talk about, like about particular actors that have made this backstory for themselves, and involves that sort of. It's not like we know plot details. No, but we just knew that one. That's interesting. We can't say anything about that, but now we kind of sort of can.
Can we?
I mean,
Should we?
No, that's we
Probably
did it.
not.
It's already done. It is done.
As a theory, not a confirmation.
Yeah, as a theory, right?
Yeah, it's a theory.
Yeah, theories are great. You've not confirmed anything.
No,
I don't think it was
going on.
I don't think it was a confirmation anyway. I think it's kind of like what I was asking. At least
like a personal backstory.
Yeah, I was asking Elise Dufour at our New York Comic Con panel. Like, I know that some people will get a little index card of like what they think their life was before, like what, a little brief, so to give them motivation in the present while they're acting.
Yep.
And so I asked her who was Frankie beforehand? What has she been through during the time jumps? All that stuff. Like, so what do you imagine she is? So that's how I treated that information that we received during Walker Stalker.
Gotcha.
'Cause
Okay.
you were there, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Going to the point, it kind of deals with, okay, well, what if there were saviors among the Whisperers? So that's really the extent of it. Really, like there has to have been maybe even like half of the Whisperers are former saviors.
Right.
I would even go that far.
If we find out that some of them were saviors, maybe we'll get a little hint as to what happened to the fall of the sanctuary.
Which is about time, because I didn't forget about
Yeah.
it. We got nothing from the saviors, like other than Jed.
Nothing.
And the Marauders. Knowing that, or knowing the possibility of that really does kind of affect how the story could go. If you think about allegiances and loyalty and bonds.
Sure.
And strained relationships and stuff like that. Because for all we know, this Whisperer that Carol and Daryl have captured could be a savior. Right?
Could be.
And that, to me, is really, it kind of brings it all back around again. Like, okay, how far are these guys brainwashed? Knowing the savior ethos and how far it would take to break them and out of this Negan cycle only to go to this Whisperer cycle. And it's like, oh, they just brainwashed me 2 times. Like, ooh.
I think it'd be pretty easy to make that leap, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean, if this person was once codependent on
oh my God.
this person, they're like, hey, I realized they left you, but don't worry. Come over. We got somebody better.
It's like
I think it'd be really easy to switch their allegiance.
It's like all those stories about like, oh, Jehovah's Witnesses leaving that to go to like MLM marketing scheme, multi-level marketing schemes, like pyramid schemes. It's like, what the? Oh, you leave one cult and go to the other.
Yeah.
By golly. No, but like, but like how much does somebody have to go through to kind of like finally take their life back? Oh boy. Like, and so you see that a little bit on display in the teaser. It's like, oh God, this guy even talks like a believer. It's rough, man.
He says something in the teaser that I just wanted to throw shit at my TV.
Yeah. You ignore the truth when it's staring you in the face.
No, he says Alpha loves us. She doesn't.
I would never betray Alpha.
What does he say? I love her as she loves us. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. You don't feel anything. That's the premise. You don't feel anything. So how could she love you?
Well, she's the alpha. She's the mama bear. She's this is how they see her. She's the provider. She's a protector.
Doesn't mean she loves them.
I think that's how she convinces them. You're like, oh, love is action. Love is.
How can you feel nothing, but then also love people?
That's a good point. It kind of reinforces the fact that it would be like a savior that wouldn't quite get what it took to be like a named person in the Whisperers or something like that.
Yeah,
that could be too. Because we mentioned this last week, like how stupid or like how like idiotic and brutal they are, right? Or also how psychotic they are, or like
the savior,
like
like
sociopaths they are.
Yeah, we were talking about how the savior sort of attracted a certain type of
flavor.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I get the savior on rye? Thank you.
Which was kind of ironic because Negan himself wasn't really one of those guys.
Right.
Like they could be useful, but he wasn't in that same mindset they were.
Yeah, he always figured out a way to justify his actions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in some ways, he was a sociopath. In some ways. Because if you have to try to convince yourself to do bad things, you are a sociopath. Because you're trying to create these firewalls to get yourself to do bad things, to justify your actions of saving people, quote unquote. But, like, how far did you have to go to do that? I don't know.
Would a sociopath need justification, though?
Yeah. No, psychopaths don't need any justification.
Well, they don't understand right or wrong.
Right. They can pretend, but...
They can pretend.
Yeah, they have no firewall.
A sociopath could mimic as well, but...
Well, sociopaths convince themselves that they adopt an ethos. but they get it all jumbled. Psychopaths have no stops. They'll pretend that they do to fit in.
Right.
That's what makes them scary.
A psychopath goes, okay, what would a normal person do in this situation? Okay,
let's do that.
I'll do that.
So I can get what I want.
I think I might be a psychopath.
No, you have self-interest.
What would a normal person do?
Oh, you have stops. Stop it. You have stops on the train. I just think it deserved mentioning that I'm in love with Dante, and there's a part of me, I'm in love with him. I just love the levity his character brings to the show. It is so refreshing. It's like, please, more bravado. Please, I love it. Like flirting with his patient overtly, but like, it's funny.
You've heard the whispers.
Yeah. And here's what I have to say about that. Because the theory is...
A common theory going around in internet land is that Dante is actually a spy for the Whisperers. He has infiltrated us and is working for Alpha.
Now it has legs, but...
It does! I don't like that.
Right. But here's my thing. I love how the show has a way of transmitting or transferring the overall paranoia and suspicion that the Alexandrians have onto us as viewers.
Right.
So that's what I love what they're playing with, is like the fact that it's entering into your mind means that it gives like Angela Kang enough of an exploit to hack your brain. Because there's going to be points at which, and it appears that this is the case, that Daryl is punching the shit out of Dante in his office.
It looks like it, yeah.
And it seems like that's all everybody needs. Case closed. He's a Whisperer spy. But here's the thing. They wouldn't lay their cards on the table like that, knowing that we know he's there.
Dante?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think... I mean, yes, the theory has legs, and I hate saying, like, oh, man, it totally could happen.
And Carol, I bet, hates it more than anything else.
Right.
Remember her reaction?
Like, right.
Dante will be with Maggie. That's his final.
It's happening.
It is happening. I'll have the right. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. I was just unexpectedly just like, oh wow, that was unexpected. Hammer down. Okay.
Somebody had shared the picture of Daryl beating
like holding
up Dante.
his hair up, right, and then punching him.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously like an action shot, right? Like he's like in mid punch. And that's what they had commented was like, oh, is Dante a spy for the Whisperers? And I thought, my first thought was, no, he's the one supplying Carol with her caffeine pills, and Daryl found out.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, the dealer. And he's frustrated with Carol, and he's taking it out on somebody else rather than
Dante.
on Carol. That's a good thought. I love your theory. I love it. That makes so much more sense to me. I was even just thinking, hacking the audience's brains into making you think that he's a Whisperer spy is like, oh, we got him. We got to play with this now. We got to play with our audience. Like, oh my God, how do they know so many things? Blah, blah. Maybe they really are everywhere. Maybe they're not. They're in the fucking...
right?
The killer is in the house.
So we could pretend for a minute that he is a spy for the Whisperers, okay?
Right.
As a doctor, in the role that he's in, how is he going to report anything back to her?
Being so busy, too, yeah. And watched, like in watching other people.
Right. How's he supposed to observe anything when he's too busy curing everyone?
Yeah, that's a good point. And where does he find the time to get out? At the middle of the night? Where does he sleep? Does he sleep? I don't know.
If he's not there spying, maybe he's there to kill as many people as he can, and maybe he's inducing this illness. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking as well. Like, okay, let's assume that he is a spy. Maybe maybe that he's not even a spy. Maybe he's just there as a plant to kind of wear people down. Mm-hmm. But that's why I think it's another reason that the show is hacking the audience, because it's trying to get you to think, what if? But we saw Gamma dump the guts into the river. We know we saw that. Yeah. And so everybody's thinking, oh, they couldn't have gotten the nutsack. It was definitely the plant. Like, you know, the sleeper agent. Sorry, the sleeper agent Dante.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was thinking an actual plant. Okay,
no, I
gotcha.
know. I'm sorry. That's why you changed the words up. It's the scene in the trailer that gets people to think, oh, Dante's a plant, but it's also like the Siddiq's PTSD. They can't believe that somebody would be this fucked up about a horrific event that happened to them. And I think that's great. I think that's great that people are in disbelief, because when they actually see it happen in what they say is going to, or at least see a lot of it in the next episode.
Yeah.
I think they'll understand what Siddiq is. I hope that what he's going through.
Yeah. I'm a little worried that what we see happened is going to be a little underwhelming.
I am too. Like, it's not going to pack the punch
for what
necessary.
he's going through. Yeah, for what he's going through. I mean, he's obviously going through something. I just want the events to reflect that, and I want to at the end of the episode be like, oh man, yeah, okay. Yeah. All of Siddiq makes sense now.
Yeah, everything.
But if it's not, what I don't want to feel is, really, dude, that's it, and this is what you're like. That's what I don't want to have to feel
happen. That way. But you're not going to be able to deny it. But you know what? You know what the additional pressure is? It's a Cudlitz directed episode too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to be
so
like,
exciting.
Is he up to the challenge? But he did a really good job with. Remember the episode that he did last season with Rosita in the woods, running away from the Whisperers, and Eugene was hiding Eugene.
That one,
that opening scene, that was him. That was really ratchet-inducing terror. He did a really good job, and he also did the episode with, the episode with Luke and Kelly and Connie defending the hilltop a few episodes ago. Was it Silence of the Whispers?
Oh, that one.
Right?
I think it was. Yeah. I think that was Silence of the Whispers.
So that was him.
He's directed a handful of episodes.
That's pretty terrifying.
And they've all been amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, now he does. Now the reins aren't completely in his hands. I get that. It's a lot of it's him and Nicotero kind of jousting and seeing what works best. But it's mostly him. So I can see this being this could be a good terror episode.
I'm ready.
I don't think we're ready. They're like ready or not, right? Here, Siddiq comes.
So I think I knocked out Light as a Feather with Caitlin Aiken, and I also knocked out Tagged with Caitlin Aiken. I'm a little worried, having watched all these other shows with her. We're gonna see her again Sunday, obviously, because you can't have an episode about what happened and not have her there. And I'm a little afraid that seeing her again, like, it's going to hit me a little bit harder this time. That she's not around. Yeah.
And it's good. It's good because after not seeing her for so long and seeing her, it's like when we saw Sasha again, like in these Sasha, less Shane, but more Sasha, like Herschel. Oh my God. Waterworks, man. Like in last year it was rough.
Sasha didn't get me at all.
Sasha got me. It's the line.
Sasha didn't get me at all. I was so pissed, to be honest, watching that.
Because you were like, oh, that should be Glenn.
Because it wasn't Steven Yeun. Yeah, it should have been. It should have been Steven Yeun, and that's all I kept thinking. To be totally honest, I'm not even sure I remember what she said. I was livid in that moment.
I defended that scene in our episode last year. You should listen to that because I gave a good case for why Sasha. I gave a really good case.
The only acceptable reason is that Steven Yeun wasn't available. That's the only answer I will accept.
No, he refused. He literally refused. Yeah.
Why?
I don't even know if he was asked though. That's the only. I remember he was asked about this question, and he said he didn't want to come back or something like that. I think that's what the answer was. But I also think it doesn't make sense. Glenn would be a good gimmick. But the point was it wasn't like you could listen to the episode again, but like it would be a great gimmick. But the whole thing was it's not supposed to be a gimmick. The whole thing is these people represent key moments in time, but key reasons why they say what they say.
Glenn? Well, first of all, Glenn could represent a multitude of key moments in Rick's life and everything. Not to mention the biggest impact. I mean, Rick probably, besides Daryl, Rick probably feels the most responsible for Glenn's death. I mean, all of them, really, but
Daryl feels the most responsible.
Well,
for
that's what I
Don's
said.
death.
That's why I said besides Daryl,
Right.
Rick probably feels the most responsible. I mean,
But it's
yeah,
less.
I
It's less
don't-
about the regret, though. That the thing is, like, the reason why they chose Sasha Williams is she represents the ultimate giving herself up to move the story forward, to move everyone forward. That's why they
Kinda.
chose her. Literally, like, completely. In that
no, I
moment,
mean, yeah. I mean,
in that
her
moment, she had the
sacrifice.
chance.
Her sacrifice didn't work though.
No, but it was just enough. It was just enough to create a wedge. That's what it was. And that, and,
But it
and-
didn't. It didn't do what she wanted it to.
Yeah, but that was enough. That was what she was saying in her spiel to Rick. Is that, you know, it's the things that we do that, even the little things that we do to move us forward, move the people that we love forward.
Yeah.
And the whole thing that she said, it just, you know, the things that we do it because we love we love our people, our family, and all three of these people are driving the idea of family home and what it takes and who our family really is in this aftermath, in the aftermath of the apocalypse. So, like, seeing her sacrifice is just pure sacrifice, even if it wasn't perfect, even if it didn't work as intended. Like, it worked. No matter what worked, in however little way, to move our family forward. And so that was the whole purpose. Like, using Glenn wouldn't have been, like, you'd have to figure it out, and it would seem more like a gimmick. And I don't think that's what they were trying to do. They're tapping into the aspects.
I don't know if
of
I would
Rick.
have put him last. I mean, I probably, if
See-
he were available, I would have switched the order up of all the
First.
people that he was seeing. Yes, Glenn would have
Yeah.
been first in his
Right.
visions.
Like, don't be a dumbass.
Right.
Wake
yes.
up.
It would have been a callback to season 1.
But
with
you know
him,
what?
yeah.
Shane is just too irresistible. So they had to make a decision at that point, right? Shane
Yeah.
would have been way too irresistible because you have to tap
Yeah.
into the rage. You know, you got to become this thing to do what needs to be done.
And talk about being responsible for a death. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that one.
But there was a reason for it.
Oh, well,
That's like cutting out your own heart.
Yeah.
It's like cutting out your own heart.
Right. So Shane and Glenn, obviously Shane's going to have a bigger impact in a scene like that. Yeah.
And it is a gimmick.
Yeah.
It works. It works too well. Like, out of all the people to see again, it would be great to see Glenn, but seeing Shane again is a surprise.
Yeah.
And it is.
I think
like,
I was also just
holy-
being selfish.
No, I mean, that's okay. I mean, you're not the first person, but, you know, I mean, it's like one of those things, like, definitely see the coverage from that, try to listen to that episode. Cause like I go into it pretty, like, cause I have the words, I have all the words she says and why that makes sense. And then I reread what Shane says, like, about being what you have to be to get the job done. And then Sasha making the sacrifices that you make, even however impactful they are, to move our family forward. And then it all accumulates, you know, everything that everybody's ever done to move our civilization forward, our family forward. So that, it was just beautiful. And so,
Right. Which is why they're standing on all the dead bodies.
yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's like, this is what it takes. This is all of us dead.
Yeah. And
But
it's super literal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it was all for the service of trying to push each other forward, to trying to get us that much closer to where we need to be.
Yeah. And it makes sense. That was what he needed to hear.
Yeah. To keep going. You know, it matters. What you're doing, it matters. However little you think it is, it matters. So going back to Sleeper Dante. But there's a couple of things to mention, like the fact that there's no real medicine. There's like literal like homeopathy or something. It's like oregano
no
oil, peppermint
And
oil.
yarrow.
I'm not saying it.
Ginger root and mint for
Yeah.
the nausea, and olive oil and yarrow for pain.
Like, the yarrow is the only thing that's maybe even close to a remedy. Like, all that other stuff is nonsense to me. Like, ginger is good for a stomach ache.
Right. Right.
Maybe.
Well, and I think mint is good for nausea.
Yeah.
But still, how much mint do you have laying around?
2 for 2 for nausea. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't solve the problem. Like, they're fucked. That's why I wanted to bring that up, because, like, they're, as doctory as they are, they're fucked. They're just completely, they're helpless. They're like in the ultimately helpless position of, like, saying, oh, we know what's going on, but you're going to die. Like,
Yeah.
I know what it is, Sadiq.
Yeah. Well, and that precious old lady too. Like, she's looking at the silver lining. Yeah, I know I'm dying, but at least I'm in a comfy bed. That's not a luxury a lot of people have at this point in the world.
Which was the Aaron move. Do you remember Aaron from last year in the same position? Probably, is this episode 6? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's 2 episodes before the end, maybe. Before the time jump.
When he loses his arm.
When he loses his arm, he's having that conversation with Rick. He's like, no, you don't understand. I may have lost my arm, but look how far I've gotten.
Right. Right.
Both of these people are in bed. Both of these people are in a precarious position. I just like the parallels. I don't know why. Like, these parallels that I can see between both seasons is so great. It's so really cool to see. Like,
yeah.
but
I'm glad you can point them out too, because I definitely don't. I don't think about past episodes while I'm watching one. I just don't.
I can't help it. It's like when you've gone through the notes and having to do the podcast on them as well. It's like I can't help but just draw these little. And it doesn't always work, but sometimes I didn't see it till just now. I remember the Aaron thing. I just don't remember I didn't remember the exact moment. Anyway, so
sometimes things pop up when we're talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember back when da da da. But like while I'm watching the episode, I don't know why.
It doesn't always. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, me too. It doesn't, like, a lot of the times it is when I'm talking that sometimes other things pop up. I'm like, shit, who's that, Carolyn? Alpha? Oh, they might be looking like they're doing the same thing. I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay, shut up, dummy.
That's why we have these discussions, though.
Yeah. Yeah, because things come out, man. And by the way, speaking of that, like, and now I'm thinking, I have this in my notes, but like, it kind of does go to this thing, like, where Dante, for all his bravado, he says to Cheryl, the patient on the flirting with her and shit.
Yeah.
Body's manifesting emotions, like so. But I was thinking about something like, okay, what if Zeke isn't as sick as we think he is too? Like, what if he's like really fucked up and his body is producing a side effect? Like, even though he has his family history, right?
Like,
it was just too specific. To like be like, wait, hold on a second. He could be saying something that applies somewhere else. The body's emotions are manifesting physical attributes, right? Do you remember that conversation with Cheryl?
Yeah. Sort of like a false pregnancy. Yeah. When women think they're pregnant and like their bellies even get bigger, and it's all a manifestation in their head. It's not even real.
It's the body producing a physical effect to a mental problem, right?
Maybe that's his body's way of handling losing Henry, losing Carol. Yeah. Being awkward.
Yeah, awkward, bud. Right. Aww. He's certainly going through something really dark and dire, enough for him to kind of want to end his life. And it's like, and so is Carol. I mean, her responding to her dreams and wanting to stay up, and her body producing hallucinations, and now Boyle's in the next. I'm kidding. Boyle's in the next episode.
I know. I'm curious to find. That might not even be anything what it looks like.
But I'm just kidding.
well, and okay.
Are you?
The first thing I thought was, oh my god, what's all over her? But if those are growths, it would take some serious time to develop those. They're not gonna show up overnight.
Right. Exactly.
So that tells me it has to be something
gross.
Yes.
Splattered
exactly.
on her.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
That she caused to splatter on her.
Right. Someone's guts are all over her face.
Yeah. Probably the prisoners, but we'll see.
I hope she doesn't kill him. That would probably be bad.
Yeah. That'd be a little out of control.
Yeah.
With knives to the fingers, like in the sneak peeks. Ooh. We don't even know. We don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not sure it's going to be anything good. I just like the line that Cheryl gives him in response to this. It's like, son, I would break you like a twig.
Right.
It's like, oh, I love you, Cheryl. Oh, you just give him the sass right back.
And she would, too.
Yep.
Cheryl's got some sass. Mm-hmm. She can take it.
She gets it. She knows what's up.
How many older ladies have you heard say that to a younger man on a show, movie, whatever? Like,
a show? Yeah. In real life, never.
No, not real life. No, always on the screen. Yeah. But
Never.
There's always
maybe.
honey, you couldn't handle this type.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Okay, maybe I've heard that once or twice, right?
Yeah.
Like Blanche Devereaux.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
Like she would say something worse.
Yeah.
She was a
She'd
dirty
be like,
lady.
you can't handle it, honey, but you can try.
But I might let you.
I'll let you try.
Right. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that. So, and I wish Carol was here for this one specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
Dante responds to her to this line that she says. He says, I thought we were having a moment there, Cheryl. Right? This brought me back to something Negan said to Carl when Carl disappears on him at the wall, like Alexandria's wall. Like, like Negan was going on, and he turns around and Carl's gone. He goes, I thought we were having a moment, you little asshole.
Yes!
And I don't know, my brain just went straight to that. And that they're in Alexandria right now, that actually like made my paranoia wheels spin.
Uh-oh.
Because like, oh gosh, maybe this guy is a plant. Maybe that's kind of like a writer's tell, like that he's like a whisperer. And like, oh, fucked me up a little bit. Because it's the same exact line. It's like, I thought we were having a moment there, Cheryl.
Yeah, you see one villain say it. The next time you hear it,
it's another villain.
Associate, assume they're a villain.
I'm just hoping it's a one-off, but like it's something I can't ignore. And this again, after having covered that episode, it's in my brain, so now I can bring it up and I can recall it like a pensive string of thoughts.
Seems like something Dante would say, though. You know,
exactly.
Seems like a Danteism.
It's harmless enough, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's what they all say until
I know, right?
Until they're silenced.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, he's not a spy or he's not a whisperer, but I really can't convince myself. Like there's no evidence telling me he is. Like I said, how is he reporting back? What is he actually doing? What's the point of him being a plant there?
Right. Exactly.
What is the end result here?
Exactly.
I don't see it.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't see where this jives. There's no time for him to report the things. It's not like he has a cell phone in his pocket.
Exactly.
It takes a little bit of work.
Not sending up smoke signals. Exactly. There's no way. There's no quick communication.
Yeah.
Unless there's a whisperer running back and forth. Which would be too risky. Someone would see that happening.
Yeah, he would need help.
I just can't believe it.
He would need help or something at least.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not smart enough to, because you know what, you don't know what the show could probably figure out a way to do it. That's not the point. Like, what would be the motivation? Like, why this character specifically? Because we wouldn't suspect him, but we do now. Mm-hmm. That's why this is a mind hack. That's why I love if they exploit this. Great. It's gonna make for great television when they're wrong.
Right.
And Carol will be like vindicated. Like, he's not a spy. He's Maggie's husband, and that's that.
He's Maggie's something. I don't know.
Maggie's side piece.
He's Maggie's something. And I mean, to be honest, it would kind of be funny to watch that dynamic between Dante and Maggie, because I already see comic book Dante in this character. He's cocky, pompous, hilarious, full of himself. He's exactly Dante from the books.
It's everything I imagine in a man.
Absolutely. And he plays it so well. He really does. He's this cool, cocky asshole. And I love
him saying to Sadiq, I'm kind of amazing. And I'm hooked.
Yes.
I'm hooked. Line sync. And that they laughed at the end.
Yeah.
That just dug his little hook in me. I'm your little fishy. Could do whatever you want with me.
If you're a spy working for somebody else, generally you don't draw a lot of attention to yourself. You want to just sort of blend in and sort of hide in the background of things. Dante is a very loud, boisterous character. I just don't see him. If he is a spy, he's a terrible one.
Ah, shit. You know what you just described?
What?
Not what Negan's doing.
Shit.
And we know he's a spy.
Shit.
But maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Well, although he wasn't sent in there. He's there on his own volition. Right.
But that actually supports your theory, because if they're both doing the same thing and you use a different tactic with the Whisperers that you would with Alexandria, then he's definitely not a spy. Because if you have to talk a lot with the Whisperers and you talk a lot Alexandria and make noise, because noise distracts the Whisperers. It's like, oh, of course you're making too much noise. If you're trying to be a Whisperer, they're going to suspect you. If you try to keep your mouth shut. But Alexandra, if you run your mouth, oh, you're just another Alexandrian.
True. True. Yeah. Damn it.
Low profile means you are suspicious. That's the thing. Lydia keeps her head down and she's suspected.
True. You know, well, they know damn well she came from the Whisperers, though.
Right. But, like, she could do anything.
If she had snuck in undetected and they didn't know she was associated, they would have accepted her. She probably would have been louder.
Man, that's a rough situation, too. But and there you're so caught up with that stuff that you don't see Dante as a spy. No, I'm kidding. But, like, that's the thing. No. Dante does not keep a low profile, like you said. Right. You know, and which is required. You know, not what the Whisperers. The Whisperers require somebody that's distracting, noisy. Like, this guy's too crazy to be a spy. Like, he's too bold. Like, he doesn't act like a normal person acts. That's in this situation with these scary people. You know, that's what's so great about the situation. It's so outlandish and out of this world that it works. It really preps us for the stark contrast that will be TWD3 in the movies. Like, how the technology difference is so different. They even described what the S-pole was yesterday, right? In TWD3. Oh, shall I tell you what the S-pole is?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
The S-pole is a technological device that instantly takes out walkers. In TWD3.
Oh, okay. So, seriously? Okay. So
it disrupts their nervous patterns and they just they just fall.
Okay, that's cool. That's super awesome. But I'm going back to timelines.
We're almost at the stage where we've hit the spot where TWD3 and TWD meet.
Okay, I'm going to have to call bullshit.
No, you can't.
Because, how do you have a device that automatically takes out walkers?
It's the difference
between
between
this close to where we're at in the storyline.
Because it's been 10 years on TWD, but 10 years have gone by in this community where they've had a chance to rebuild it with the technological advances. And one could say
we're already there.
Yeah, and one could even say that maybe these communities were prepared for this event.
Maybe.
See? And so if you're prepared for this event, you're prepared.
I should have been excited by that, but now I'm just irritated.
You should be, because there is going to be a part of you that starts to realize, well, these guys were suffering and toiling and losing people and etc. These people in here have had it made.
I also don't like the idea of a spinoff being so close to the timeline that we're already in. What's the point? What is the point of watching two shows happening at the same time?
No, because the time thing, I think it's safer to do it that way because it's just showing you a different perspective. Do you know what I mean?
I want to see,
rather than a different time.
I want to see.
That could get messy.
We already saw Fear. Fear took us back to the beginning.
Right.
I want to see what's down the road 10 years, 15 years.
Right. But that can get messy.
We already know what's happening right now. I don't want to watch another show about what's happening now.
Yeah, but you know what the danger is in showing a show that's far ahead? Is that you start to think, oh, does this person survive in the present? Does that person do like little Easter eggs that they have to mess with in the past? So I can see...
Well, we already know that there's a statue erected to Rick Grimes, right?
Well, was that a
joke?
So A, that's the comic book, and B, that was me making a joke. Like, oh, they could do this little Easter egg. Like, oh, who's this character?
I thought there was legitimately a statue of Rick Grimes someplace on this.
And again, that was me thinking that this was going to be like, I don't know, 7 years in the future from TWD.
Right.
They already said, the team has already said this happens 10 years after the beginning of the apocalypse, which is basically where we're at.
Right.
So that's what's happening. No, but that's okay because it's like a different point of view with people that have had. See, these aren't Alexandrians. These people weren't immune from the apocalypse, but they were educated in the apocalypse. They immersed themselves in the apocalypse. So what it takes to take these guys are so into it. It's like they know all the different ways you can take out a walker, probably. In every single point on the walker body. Like, they know, oh, if you hit this part here in the neck, oh, the whole thing shuts down. And, like, they can't even move their mouth, but they're still in there somewhere. I don't know. But my whole point being is they've studied the science of this apocalypse and are trying to beat it. And what's really cool with that is how, because the way all zombie apocalypse movies go, is like, even still, the apocalypse finds a way to defeat that. You know?
So right. No matter how prepared you are.
Yeah, I'm in for that. Like, I'm in for a different take.
I am going into this with caution. I'm not going to have I don't have expectations for this show.
But you already announced your caution.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going into this just, I don't know, blank.
Well, I'm gonna put some the embedded tweet that I got from, and it's actually I retweeted it. Sarah Beth Pollock actually visited the set of TWD3, and she said all the impressions that people have had from the trailer that this is gonna be some sort of Nick at Night version of The Walking Dead. Rest assured, because it's teenagers and the way they filmed it, people like are thinking, oh, this is gonna attract a younger audience, and it may.
Yeah.
But anybody who has the impression that this is going to be any lesser of a TWD show is going to be surprised when they find out how much more dark it is than The Walking Dead.
No.
So I'm very curious to see what she's talking about. And if it's darker than The Walking Dead, like if they're going to go places that The Walking Dead could not go. Probably killing kids, probably. Like killing more kids.
Walking Dead went there. I was gonna say,
they took a big swing with scars.
Yeah,
like
I mean, and that's not even the first time.
No, it isn't. But there was a lot of kids.
Right. Pretty sure there's been a kid killed off every season so far.
Yeah, or like every other season. I want to say, yeah. Does that make sense? 4, 6.
Well, I mean, if we're not counting season 1, nobody really dies then. Amy.
Oh, she a kid?
A kid?
I'm talking about like
a kid. Right. No, but
like
I mean, Amy's
single digits.
Yeah. Sophia.
Oh, well, we didn't get to see her die. We saw her as a walker, I guess.
And then we had to watch them kill Walker Sophia.
That was boss. It was a boss scene, right? To see her head go back.
I know it. I know.
And Rick's pose too at that moment. Like, it's like cold. It was like weird. It's almost cold. Anyway, the only thing we got left is sneak peeks, but it's like Sadiq sees a vision of Debbie/Alpha.
Yeah.
In the window of the infirmary, and so there's a lot of things going on here too. So I mean, you see in the extended sneak peek on Talking Dead, his visions get so rough that he jumps into the lake. And somebody actually said this on the Aim for the Head podcast. They said. This might be enough for his brain to kind of figure out where that people are getting sick from the water. And so
after he jumps in?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
His brain is working out something. I thought this before, but they said they put it in a way that actually sounded better. Like his PTSD is his brain working out the problem. Lydia leaves her cell so the prisoner takes over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Lydia's shook. Carol confirms that he is the one that watches the Guardians. So he's like walking around with them. Gabe is back from his patrol and just yelling at Carol, "You put us all at risk." And Carol's like, "We have to find the horde." And Carol's in favor of torturing the guy. And Gabe is trying to like hold the line and be like, "Carol, that's not your call. None of this is." And like, I'm going to have to call the council, including Michonne. And Carol's just like, "Okay, apparently this wall is now blocked." So it's like, Lydia, you can stay with me tonight. And then the very next scene, it's like you see that the sneak peeks continue on. Carol takes a horse and kidnaps Lydia, and there's an overdub of her saying, "You need to choose what side you're on." Like, what the fuck, bitch? You're kidnapping a kid, and like you have to decide which. Well, okay, fine, I'm on your side. Like, do I have a choice? Aaron and Gamma meet at the border. Gamma has some parchment in her hands, so like maybe a map of some kind. I don't know. But doesn't that give you season 8 vibes when Daryl was given the planted map? Right?
Yeah.
Think about that
when
for a
him
minute.
and Dwight was helping
betrayed. Sadiq will purposely relive the barn scene for us to see, at least partially, and you really see his PTSD management ratchet up after sleepwalking with Coco.
Yeah.
By jumping in a pond. There's another scene where Gamma looks really worried that maybe she's being suspected by Alpha. There's like this like face of terror in her face. So, and there's like this one. You know how they have the brief sneak peek, and you see that at the end there's like all these flashes of different scenes.
Yes.
So I caught a few. Okay, Gamma leaves Aaron at the border. Sadiq is in the barn. Rosita's sick in bed. That's foreboding. Sadiq in a bedroom with a huge bed. That was an interesting scene. I don't know why that's there. Gamma in the middle of the forest unmasked. So usually you never see her with a mask off. Yeah, alone.
Ooh.
You see it from behind with the red hair.
Okay.
It's also an interesting DP choice, like a director of photography choice. Like what is going on in her mind right now? And she never has the mask off usually, unless Alpha makes her. So
right.
Interesting.
Well, they're not supposed to be human, right?
Right, except
maybe
for Gamma.
she's having a human moment.
I'm having a moment. Who knows?
Having a moment.
It's getting really intense. This is getting really intense. And I'm pissed off. Clearly. If you like what you heard, please give us a like. Leave a comment if you think we've left something on the table. And undoubtedly, I think there may have been a couple things that we might have just glossed over. That's fine. We got to the meat of the thing, I think. And if not, you tell us, or you leave a thumbs down. Ooh, yeah, I didn't like that at all. Ooh. But if you liked us even more, or if you just want to help us out on this level, leave a rating in iTunes Music. Leave another rating in Stitcher. Whatever you prefer. It really helps build our profile up. If you want to help us even more than that, click the link in our website, squawkingdead.com, to support the podcast. Just buy us a coffee. You don't have to do the subscription thing if you don't want to. It really helps. Doing that will get you access to our recording sessions where you can be with us in the chat, basically. Instant chat, so there's no lag. You're there when we're recording while we're making mistakes. So you get to fix us when we do that. And you get a copy of the unedited footage for you to enjoy later on, which is great. And all these new features, like I'm even thinking off the top of my dome, like the next giveaway, what could be really cool as a coffee perk is they get a week's early access to any giveaways that we decide to do, like that are like at least a month long. Or like some sort of advanced access to the polls, Yeah. They get the link earlier than others.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool incentive too. So these are things that I'm thinking of along the way. But either way, join us on the journey. Send us a coffee, ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Support the podcast. Just buy us a coffee. I'm looking forward to the next one, but kind of not looking forward to it because it looks like torture porn, and it's going to be a rough watch. But in the meantime, stay good. Don't text and drive, and love each other. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.